Just something like kind of thought for the first meeting,
Oh,
which you might just.
guess so.
For the first meeting, just highlight.
This is the same one, there's no difference between them and what, okay, I know.
That's the one that got sent out to you.
I got beaten.
You have cooties, what?
Oh, no, we've been running around with Sabina's car
No. Okay.
and bad mechanical advice.
Oh.
Is that good? So, how would you like to approach this?
Well, it's a little, this budget is a little less of an increase than last year.
It's just under the tax cap.
Just under, oh,
We're a little over 3%.
338 now.
Mhm.
I'll be quiet. You just call. Interrupt.
You just call on your name.
You were just, see, I said I was gonna be quiet for them.
Yeah, right. That's all right. They can't hear you unless you. So we lucked out on it, really. For a couple of reasons.
You know, at one point, maybe we ought to think about some salary, looking at salaries. If we're gonna
Yes.
keep talking about cutting, staying under tax cap, but we don't look at some of the salary issues, that's probably not good.
no.
Yeah, I think I know what you're hinting at. So.
I had a question about deputy town clerk salaries.
Let's see where are you?
It was, increased from 28 to 34.
Yes,
Just wondered why.
that's what happened when we, if we plug in next year's number for the living wage.
Okay, I thought it's a salary. And hers.
So
is
it's a
way below.
20-some-odd% increase for the deputy clerk. That's if we remain a living wage employer, Chris.
Hard for me not to talk.
Which I thought it would be well to put it in.
I assumed that's what it was. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
Under, special items, unallocated insurance,
Which is what,
1910.4, page 4.
Talking deputy.
we just did.
So we're moving her up to a living wage, $24 an hour.
Well, she's out of living wage, but next week
Everybody's
we're going to
No,
making.
she was nowhere near a living wage.
No, she was $20.
Give me a break.
Well, the 2024 living wage is 18.
You're not talking about
1845.
salaries, Joel. You're talking about an hourly wage. That's not the same as managing to survive and.
No,
Yes,
but
but just being clear that what you're talking about when you say, yes, we're moving her to a living wage, you mean we're moving her to a living wage, the living wage salary that's being,
The county, I mean.
it's what it's no longer alternative credit union, right?
Right.
But anyway, it's the worker center number for 2025 will be, I understand,
464.
64,
2460.
Yeah, I'm with them. Never mind.
yeah, which is a humping increase from 1845.
But it was lower. And compared to the other salaries we're given, especially for the secretaries for the CAC and the planning board, are way higher than what she was making and working more hours. She was really grossly underpaid for our town, not just overall, but what we do for other people in our town.
Mhm.
then if you're gonna say that, then we need to talk about the clerk salary too.
Yes, yes. But I was just going through now and looking at what's already changed to make it.
Yeah.
The special items, unallocated insurance. What the hell is unallocated insurance?
That's our,
Not health insurance,
it's our property tax.
Mhm.
It's.
So why is it
Not
called-
property and liability.
What's the
It's our
reason for the
liability.
unallocated?
We call that unallocated because we lump a lot of things in it. Okay, so like we have also the insurance on you
Okay,
guys.
so it's miscellaneous insurance.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
call that miscellaneous.
So
We went
yeah,
up because the
budget.
insurance really went up, but we are looking at other companies.
okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
in an effort to try to rein it in, but
other government support budget
is,
was down.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're not doing the stormwater coalition, so that took it down. That is an exhibit.
Yeah, I saw that.
we didn't have that exhibit, but you got.
Under superintendent's salary. I
Which
assume
one?
that was just a 3%
Yes.
You mean that, highway or,
highway superintendent. There's only one superintendent
Yeah.
highway.
3%, yes,
Yeah.
And the clerical salary is again 3%?
yes.
yeah,
Okay,
Everything on here was all 3%, unless they did not meet the living
the
wage.
living wage,
So every salary on here, every, is at least $24.
I got it.
64 an hour.
on the contractual for garage, there was a drop from 23 to 24. It stays the same in 25. What changed at 23 to 24? And I assume it's okay to keep it that way, but
It is, basically what it is, we kind of take a look back at the expenditures. Okay, if we take a look back at what we had been spending on the garage.
okay, for 22 and
So
23, we were
therefore,
well
when
under.
we were approving
Okay.
the budget in 23, we would look at that and say, okay, well, let's go down a little bit.
I can see the expenditures are down, so
Yes.
that means the budget would be down. Yep,
Yes.
I can see that.
we get a little more
Um,
room.
Jennings Pond Program
Yeah,
budget, increase, $1,200. Why was that?
Contractual?
No. Lifeguards, Jennings
Lifeguards,
Jennings Pond.
Because they've been up. That's why they've been up. So we put that.
What-
in there. Of course,
what-
we
what's
pay them
been up?
The number of hours that they've kept the pond open. So the number of hours that they kept the pond open, what the amount we were paying them was that lifeguard $20.
the same thing, you know, it could go from 20 to 24,
And see,
64
that's
for the
what we go
lifeguard.
24, and then it goes up, you know, if they've got some more hours that they're having the pond open or whatever. So that's why putting that $1,500 increase, isn't that what it is?
Oh, 1,200.
1,200.
And
I think-
contractual line, the same problem, is that we were way under for the mowings,
That's mowing, okay.
mostly. you know.
Zero.
There's also like, we were paid to have a lifeguard trained.
It's that up. It costs $600 now to certify them. Each one of them each year. So
And for that, again, not affecting the budget, but in terms of actually expending it next year, we need to make sure the pond is accessible for swimming.
If we have a lifeguard, it will be, but,
No, it wasn't the lifeguard problem.
you're talking about the.
The water sucks.
Water
Yeah.
quality, yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's health department's, criteria. Oh, on that point, in case you want to know, I had a long chat with, who's the regional director of the parks?
Oh, good.
Jim Murphy.
No,
Fred Ball.
Fred Bond, right. I had a nice chat with Fred Bond. In response to some of the issues that Rhonda raised. And he spoke specifically to the water quality issues, you know, what do we do about what about the geese problem? And he said, well, maybe you could do a buffer. So that when you see from the water, it doesn't show, you know, that you get this manicured line behind the strip. But he also said that it hasn't been dredged in a long time. And he'll look into the possibility of dredging it, putting that in, won't be in 25, but in 26. Because
Well,
that
if
would
it's not
also,
swimmable in 25, then we shouldn't be paying lifeguard.
well, it's not that it isn't swimmable, but
Oh, if you want to go swimming in muck. Geez.
Besides, is this a budget conversation?
This is a-
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
it had to do
Not,
with,
not
Yeah.
planning what to do in 25.
Yeah.
it increased, their budget was increased.
Yes,
I had a
but
question
what
about
to
it.
do about the pond in 25 probably, unless we know money. I see that the community, youth commission budget, I think is probably too low. But we have, did you get the numbers from, did you get your numbers?
Yeah, I got the numbers from someone from that organization. They gave them those numbers, and then with that number, I increased it by 5,000. I increased it by 5,000 because I know you guys like to choose your own scholarships. When you're
The
giving.
scholarships are separate. That doesn't have anything to do with what we pay for the, with
So
the,
the
that's
services to the
separate.
county.
But I think I take
Doesn't
it
go
out of the
through the
same
county.
account. Last year, we increased.
No, not community council.
Youth
Youth
Commission.
commission, I'm sorry, I can't hear very well. I'm having trouble hearing
That
everything.
line item for the youth.
Youth Commission.
Here, I popped my
Yeah.
ears
Youth
out.
commission,
Laura, if you probably ought to be closer so that anybody listening on Zoom could hear. Since it's a back and forth with you quite a bit.
And I didn't mean to jump out of order. Is there gonna be any order to this meeting, or are we just gonna jump through and try and find it in the page?
Well, I asked how we'd like to approach it and Pat just sort of jumped in and said, well, I got a bunch of questions.
I had made questions on a lot of items.
Yes,
that I wasn't
but that's what
sure.
we do is going through.
Okay, now, problem
Respond.
with that for me is they're not the pages aren't numbered, so for me
That's
to, I
true, they're
to
not.
try and jump
Oh,
around
I'm-
and try and, that's all right.
I'm sorry,
means that
and
I
I
can't-
use it, I
You do-
guess
you
I
do have
keep
the-
track of it in order of account.
You got
Yeah, so then we need to say the account, right,
Yeah.
but if you, it would help me, I'm sorry, but I'm so ignorant, it would help me if
No,
you
you're not.
say the account number, so I can at least start
Find it,
looking for
right,
the
right,
account
exactly.
number to see where we
Where we
are.
are.
Well, I can tell you on that Danby Youth Commission, since you're at A 7330.4. I got a number from, was it from Jamie? That I got
Well,
a number?
it's Kate and the number that
Somebody.
came from
It
Jamie.
came, yep, they gave me
For
that
this
number,
year.
25,000 something.
Okay.
And I added another 5,000 to it because last year you
Right,
guys
but-
wanted that too, so you guys could pick your own. You would have some extra in there to give out scholarships. So that's in that $30,000 line.
It doesn't look like what I remember hearing at the meeting. That's the only reason I asked, and I don't have the
okay.
numbers in front of me, so I
And
can't.
was there amount, did that include scholarships?
No.
No,
25,000?
scholarships are
The
separate. from the
25,000,
county,
that scholarships were separate.
And
and
they're
they're
only,
only-
it's only $1,000.
$1,000, right?
And if we wanted to do more,
You
I want to think about raising it because it's.
if we wanted to,
Yes.
but that's,
Mhm.
the salaries are, but I'm sorry, I just want to be quiet for a little while. I just want to know where you are when you start talking about something, where you are in this. That's all.
So I mean, okay, with just entertaining Pat's questions as the way to go through this, or,
I'd like to say something about the town clerk salary.
right, have we got,
That's what places you do are.
yeah,
Yeah, sure.
It's not.
so,
If you guys are up to that point, are you guys up to that?
I don't know, so where is that in the budget?
The town clerk salary?
Comes before,
Okay, it's gonna be a 1410.
Okay.
Hold on.
page 3,
There's no page number.
I'm sorry.
third page,
1410.3.
1410.1.
1410.
Town clerk
Point
personal
one
services,
is
right,
personal services for the town clerk salaries.
right.
46,699 for 2025. And if
That's
you
it.
want to address that now, I will
Right.
move and I will. let-
Great, thank you.
Hi. So I've been the town clerk since January, so only 9 months. And I've worked full-time. Come in early, stay late. I have worked Saturdays and Sundays. On Mondays, I work a 12-hour day. And you continue to assure me that this is a part-time job. And that it will get better. It has not. So I get it. I need to cut back on my hours and I think I need some help with that. Because, I want to ask the board, what is it that I need to give up? Is it talking to the residents? Talking to the real estate firms who every day ask for property tax documents? I could cut back on filing. I really can't do that. That is my primary responsibility, are the documents. How about financial accounting? The town clerk is responsible for $4 million coming through the clerk's office. About $2,000 at a time. I'm keeping track of that $4 million at $2,000. Some people come in with their $169. Some people come in with their $6,000. And I keep track of all that for the town. I don't think I can give that up, but I also reconcile every monthly bank statement down to the penny. Maybe I can give that up. Project management, I can give that up. I can stop getting quotes for software. I can stop getting quotes for hardware. I can stop negotiating with vendors. We are going to have to replace our phone system.
Mhm.
I'm talking to vendors now. I can give that up. We can pay TCNS maybe to take on some of these responsibilities. That might give me time to work on the website. Every day I leave and I think, I really wish I could, put pictures on the website or do something with the website. That's kind of what I want to do, but I don't have time for that. I understand you're going to propose that the town clerk takes on the newsletter. Help me out with where I'm going to find time to take on the newsletter. Maybe I cannot take board minutes,
That's a
meeting
part of our
minutes.
responsibility.
Well, maybe we can just get recordings of the meeting minutes, because putting the meeting minutes together takes far longer than the meetings themselves.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Have you looked at what Otter can do? Because Otter takes notes too.
yes, I take those notes. Those are the notes that I use. That's
Mhm.
why we have Otter. Those are the notes that I use for the minutes.
Yeah.
That's why, when,
Otter's surprisingly good at that.
well, you still have to go through and listen,
Mhm.
because Otter gets
Yeah.
it wrong.
Yes.
And I can't afford to just have Otter get things wrong. So really what I want to say here is I would like to suggest that the town clerk position be moved to full-time and paid full-time in line with other professional staff. The hardest thing is working the same hours as the professional staff here and making a
2/3.
30% less
Mhm.
than they do. Why is that? I've been told, it's always been that way. Why is the town
Why,
clerk?
why are elected officials underpaid all across the board?
No,
Everybody?
that's not the.
Your
there's not
code
an answer for
officer
that.
is paid 62,000.
She's not
Your
paid.
bookkeeper,
They're all hired.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you look at other town clerks, they're widely abused.
okay, so
So that's
please
why we
don't,
should
so
continue.
don't complain about angry town clerks.
No, I mean, you are not the first, I mean, your predecessor tried to make the same point and we didn't believe her that it was a full-time job, but.
Okay, so I don't want a full-time job. So I won't be running, which means that you're gonna have to recruit the next town clerk. I will try everything. I want to be your best town clerk for the next year, 14 months. And I hope that it's going to be a very good transition to the next town clerk. But in planning for the next town clerk, you might want to bump up the salary, because I do not feel valued when I compare myself to the code officer's salary.
Mhm.
So this person needs to be here by March. I would really request that you do not deceive this new town clerk by having them believe that this is a part-time job. This is a vital position with an incredible amount of responsibility. It deserves a full-time salary and to be fairly valued among the rest of the professional staff. I have a comment that Laura is going to get to shortly. It's about my healthcare coverage. I'm single. I have single healthcare coverage because Scott gets different, my husband gets different coverage. And apparently I've contributed thousands of dollars in savings to the town.
Yep.
I don't, Laura can give you the details. I don't have this information because Laura has promised to give me access to the financial reports as soon as she's caught up. But that has not happened yet. But she does have the details about the money in my compensation package that will remain unspent. I would like to ask the board that money is part of my compensation package and should be paid to me. perhaps as a bonus, as Laura had suggested to me, but perhaps just a way to bump up the salary for the town clerk. I don't know if your next town clerk is gonna have a family, maybe that's something you can, try and recruit somebody who doesn't have a family, who doesn't need health insurance, because it sounds like there's money there.
People need health insurance.
Right, but,
No, she's talking about whether
I
it's
know.
family.
but apparently this
There's a
year,
huge difference between individual and family coverage.
In terms of cost, yeah.
I
Yeah.
shouldn't have interjected. I want Mariah to continue, sorry.
no, I just want you to be able to attract a great town clerk. And I want to help in any way I can. And I think that the worst part of this job, honestly, is the pay. And I love it. I love, having to do many things. I think ADD might help the next town clerk. And I have a couple suggestions if you're interested. But I don't want a full-time job. And that's really all I have to say. Does anybody have any questions?
How much do we get paid? $500 a month, something like that, Laura? Do you know? Okay.
Who?
Oh, no.
The board members?
Twice a year, maybe.
No, it's quarterly, but it's.
Yeah.
But
Quarterly, we get what, $500?
Nine. Nine,
Yeah.
Well, right off the bat, I would donate my salary, whatever that is to. But never did this for the money, but at least temporarily, I would certainly do that. I'm saying that should be,
That's a nice thing, but that's not an answer to the problem.
no,
because-
it's not an answer to the long-term.
And the other part of that problem is we would like to be able to attract people to be on the town board as well.
Well,
And if the.
if we keep foregoing increases, which we've already done a couple of times,
Right, so.
The
it's
money
not-
town board members make isn't worth shit compared to
not.
what the hassles are, so.
that's
I
right.
I probably have spent that much in.
I mean, what is it,
Towing
$8,000 a year?
miles.
What's that?
I know that it's all relative and size wise and duty wise, but what do other town clerks in the area, what is their salary? Do you know?
I believe Ashley, who actually lives in Danby, she's the deputy town clerk and she's making about 60. She's a deputy town clerk for the town of Ithaca.
Oh, Ithaca, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I was,
Town of Ithaca, not city.
I know that, Enfield bumped up their town clerk because she was sitting down making about $7 an hour. But what they bumped her to is still pretty low. But it'd be good to, for comparative purposes, to know whether we're, and we could lead the way. We did it with the planner.
oh, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm saying it's relative,
Yeah,
but it would be interesting to know.
it would. I mean, my only comment about this, I fully support, increasing the town clerk salary. But I also think that we'll have to raise taxes to do it. Because we're talking about, a permanent increase in the budget.
Right.
So it's not something you want to fund with a temporary infusion of cash from the
Right.
fund balance.
Right,
And when we compare it to other offices, with not just the clerk's salary that matters. It matters how much salaries are used for the clerk's office. Because I know at one point we had 2 deputy clerks.
Deputies,
So if somebody is making a very low amount of money and has 3 or 4 deputy clerks, that doesn't mean that salary is appropriate here when we don't have 3 or 4.
Well, we could add deputy clerks and,
Which has the same effect, increases the total cost, because it depends on whether it goes to the clerk or goes to deputy clerks. We're talking about increasing the cost for salaries in the
well,
clerk.
increasing, right, right.
That's an option for when we look to hire somebody,
Correct.
if it were possible to say, you could have a full-time job, or you could have a part-time and 2
Right.
assistants, or something like that.
Right.
So that we don't force an issue on a future person or the current person, but that is one thought.
Well, consider that as is a hidden cost here is the cost of insurance. Which for family coverage is now what?
Family coverage is now $2,400, over $2,400 a month.
Per person.
Per person, yeah,
Per family,
per family,
per family.
per employee.
I know that there is a,
You're about my calculator wrong.
10.5% employee contribution to that. But, I can get those figures for you for the next budget workshop that we have.
Yeah.
So you can see exactly what that would mean, you know, the difference between family and single policy is under 1,000 a month.
Mhm.
So that's quite a difference.
Yeah.
$1,500 a month.
So
Yeah.
I raised this point a couple of years ago and the board was not receptive. But you know, we don't contribute anything to those who don't work full-time in terms of their health insurance. So we save,
Unless they work 30 hours a week.
exactly, well, then basically they're full-time equivalent. The deputy clerk, who is underpaid, costs us not only less in terms of her hourly compensation, but she's also not getting any health insurance coverage or anything. So, you know, it's way cheaper to have 2 or 3 part-timers than 1 full-timer.
That's well known and applies to many other organizations.
That's
that
right.
Do that on purpose.
A lot of organizations don't. I don't think it's the right choice. I don't think it's a fair way to treat your employees.
I think that depends on the person. There are people who don't want full-time work. They want something that's part.
Yes, yes.
So if you're assuming that we can't do it that way because it's bad for the people, you're not accounting for those that actually don't want full-time. And may very well have insurance from other sources. So you're eliminating those as possibilities for people who want to work.
No, I'm not.
I
I'm
don't
not
think we
suggesting
can
you
say
should be
that.
full-time. I'm just
No.
suggesting that if, you know, that just because you're part-time, you don't have access to the benefits that a full-time person has, not even on a prorated basis. And there are lots of people who work 2 or 3 part-time jobs in order to, you know, make a living and and none of them have benefits.
Right, and that's not, I don't want to be a part of that as a town. To make it so that people can't, that they have to work 3 or 4 jobs, 2 or 3 jobs before they can get any kind of medical help.
Yeah,
That's not right either. I mean, until we have medical care for all,
which would be the better solution.
yes, we have to look at these kind of things. I mean, there are plenty of people, as you both were saying, it's not right to hire people part-time and have them only work up to 19 hours instead of 20, so I don't have to give them any benefits. I mean, that's a terrible way to do business, so. I mean, I don't know whether there's a lesser way of doing insurance that people could have, but
Well, even if we did a prorated contribution, you know, if, in other words, if somebody's working half-time, if we gave them the equivalent of, you know, what would cost us to provide one of our full-timers for their health insurance, and then they could use that money, either put it in their pocket, or if they got insurance covered some other way, but it would increase their compensation overall.
that was the thing that got you in trouble from me.
Yeah.
The thing about putting it in their pocket and spending it on something else. I just heard 2 things when you said that. I heard one, that it might be possible to have them get a partial amount of insurance from the town, and then by their choice of taking a part-time job, have that money to put them bump into it. I don't know whether that's possible.
You can't get a partial coverage, you know, you're either in or not.
Another thing to think about too, and I know some other municipalities do this for their part-times, there's different plans to choose from. Right now, we have one plan under the town of Danby's name, the Platinum Plan, which is really
At the top of the line.
but there's other plans. There's a silver plan, a bronze plan.
Yep.
A gold plan. And those are a little bit cheaper. I don't like the deductible. I hate thinking about like a family having like a bronze plan or something like that, because the deductible is so high that they don't get one bit of good out of the plan.
Unless you have a
until
catastrophic
They
illness.
met that high deductible. But there are plans out there that part-timers could choose from that we could possibly contribute to, you know, based on their hours.
We really cannot hear anything you say.
Okay, you're there and not here.
Thanks for coming up.
I mean, so that's a possibility
I
too.
forgot.
We looked into some different things for health insurance, and I know we're a little bit off topic from
Well, it's
doing
all,
this,
it's all very relevant
we
to the
can-
discussion
sure.
here, compensation.
So we can look at other plans too that we can add to our menu that might help. That might be something that some part-timers want to choose, and it's a little less expensive. It's something where we could maybe figure out how much we could contribute to that smaller amount, and then what they can come up with for the rest of it. That's less expensive. Is it as good? No. And then you get into that moral thoughts of, well, what kind of health insurance plan is this really? How is this really helping that individual? But it's up to each individual to figure that out for themselves when they take a job, or they figure out, would this plan work for me if I was part-time?
Yeah, and you know, people
But
have
it's
access
stuff
to.
that we've never talked about before, so I could gather
It
information
would be good to get.
and present it to you guys so that you at least had your eyes on it and you knew what I was saying about how much these deductibles were and out-of-pocket maximums and all that kind of stuff. So I'd be happy to do that.
So
So
it might be worth on a regular basis to maybe poll the part-time staff as to whether they
Right.
would be interested or not.
Yes,
Because some years,
absolutely.
maybe nobody's interested.
sometimes
Other
nobody's
years, there might
interested.
be
They're
more
not,
interested.
they're working part-time and they want their money for their other household expenses. And they're not really thinking about that insurance as something.
Or they
that
have it as somebody,
Or
by
they have
somebody
it and
else in their
somebody else
family.
in their
Got
family
another
has it.
That happens.
Or they're out
Right.
on the exchange and it's working out good for them.
Right,
But it would be helpful for everybody to understand more about it
right.
yes,
and just show what the consortium has to offer for other options in that menu.
so I think we've gotten a feel here where we started, which was the salary for the clerk, town clerk.
Mhm.
And the question is whether or not it is a full-time position or a part-time position. And it seems to me that for Mariah, it's a full-time position. And it's also the face of the town. She's the one that everybody comes to. That
Right.
everyone knows. And on that simple formula, I would say that she should be making what Steve makes.
And that was, what was the last part of your sentence?
I think should make as much as Steve makes as
Yeah.
a full-time employee.
Now, she is officially part-time. I don't remember what officially the hours are for.
But you know, she's an elected official, so there
No,
are
no, no. She, budgeting is based on the fact that it's part-time for a specific number of hours. That's what I want to know, what those specific number of hours are.
However long it takes for her to do
Yeah, I
her
don't-
job.
No, there's some assumption that it was part-time, and part-time means,
I
you
made
say
no such
forever, you
sense.
can't guarantee
I don't
part-time.
think
It's not true.
It's officially
Pat,
part-time.
it's not true.
No.
If somebody can come in and do the job in 8 hours, that's what they get paid. But, you know, when it's
If it
it's
takes
one of
them
those
80 hours,
jobs that
they can
like
pay
in
the same.
January, forget
They
it.
get
you're
paid-
working
yeah,
overtime.
8 hours,
And
80
there are
hours
other
get paid the
times-
same amount.
Anyway,
That's right.
We should be looking at the hours that it takes for that, because it does not take.
well, I
That's
mean,
the
the
whole
other is the whole
hours.
structure.
Well,
I mean,
It does not take what?
It
Doesn't take
it's-
40 hours a week?
No, she
It
said
probably does take 40 hours.
She's saying it doesn't take a small number of hours.
Doesn't take a small number of
She's
hours.
being
And it's
encouraged.
also, she's a presence. I mean, even me,
It's an
I mean,
important
I go in there and,
it's an
you know,
important
pick up
position.
the agenda for tonight,
Yes,
and she talks to me about it.
yes.
And, you know, that's part of what she has to be doing. And I'm sure she does it for all of us.
And the public, because it's not
And
just
for
the
the
town board. it's
Absolutely, she's the one who
public,
explains
it's the
stuff to
public,
everybody.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm a little surprised.
What?
Well, just that I did Steve's job, right?
Mhm.
And I was paid full-time. And the question is, did I need to be a full-time employee then to do it? But I wasn't willing to take a job unless I was a full-time employee. So- You're right. So now we have to be, I think you have to put the same consideration into the town clerk. Is that it seems to me as if it's a full-time job, that whether or not every single minute that she's spending is the most efficient way of spending that time. It's still a full-time job, because she's the face of the town for all the hours that she's here. So is that 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock?
Sometimes.
Well, what, are you really asking that or just making a statement?
I'm asking the question.
It's
I'm
not,
asking
hours
for
are
full-
set by the town clerk.
Yeah,
Funny.
she sets it in.
The town clerk sets her own hours, or
Right.
his or her own hours. So that could be,
As an elected official, her time is her own to determine how much time she wants to spend doing that office. And if she does a terrible job, it's up to the voters to decide she's doing a terrible job and hire somebody else.
That doesn't mean we should pay her for shit in the meantime. If she's
No,
working
and
full-time,
I'm not
I don't think
suggesting
you
that.
finished, go ahead.
And I'm not suggesting that. I think that, Janice before her, both of them have made the case that the job has grown and it now entails a lot of time, more than we think it does. And, the compensation hasn't risen
Right.
along with the increased work.
That's what I think where we are.
Okay, I
So
mean,
we could, so anyway, we had a little bit of a discussion. You can say it's a part-time job. You just need to hire more help.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's really always an efficient way of handling things.
It isn't
And it depends
necessarily.
on the person and depends on the
so
options.
what kind of job?
There are
You
sometimes
want a
things that
part-time
can
job?
and sometimes
Then we hire
can't.
the other people.
But that's what the clerks know what can and can't be easily
Well,
done.
I kinda like
But the other
idea-
thing is, I think it doesn't have to be one way or the other. If we have a certain amount of things for the clerk's salary that makes it full-time, then if somebody doesn't want to work full-time, we can adjust it
Right.
and take
Right.
some of that salary and give it to part-time people.
Yeah, you
But
could
so
stick to
what we need is put the salary in for what we have, is
How
if
many
it's
ta-
there,
how many-
and then did more.
How much support is in the office? I mean, are there two?
There's a
people?
deputy.
Well,
there's a
now we got the-
deputy, and there's
Three.
Mary Ann.
And
Right.
Marianne.
That's the project assistant. in the
Project
budget- In
assistant.
the budget.
It's called the project assistant, and
There's
she
another.
does things.
Yeah.
Who's Diane?
Oh, she's in the court. Diane
Not
Garrett.
Diane.
And Blake, yeah.
Who am I-
Oh, and then there's Blake. That's right. There's
Yeah,
Blake.
it's like a temporary.
Julia.
temporary-
Who, Julia? I was like, who's?
Oh, and then
doing
there's
town-
Julia too. That's,
Okay, so,
yeah.
I mean, I think as a town, we need to look at the whole package.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Julia's-
say, I would like to just say that
Julia's
town
working with
clerks in New York
with the
State
clerk
make
and,
between,
And
on
doing
an
some
average
things for me.
between
Yes,
44 and
yes.
$57,000.
Wait a minute.
Now, that, there's a wide variety of towns and a wide variety of number of people in those towns. The sizes are different. But I think we need to look at the whole package.
But what we did
the whole
last,
staffing.
what we did last year was, we added Julia. To address the fact that there was, both the clerk and the bookkeeper were spread too thin, we needed more help.
Right.
That's another
And that-
thing. Would you like me to put together a little analysis of everything that's going on there?
I'd like to see it
And
on.
put it all on a sheet that pertains to
also-
that?
I'd
to
also
the
like to
clerk's
have,
office?
I'd like to have Mariah put together the kinds of
Yes,
jobs
correct.
that could be, like, if, because we
To
did
me,
talk
the other
about
thing
this.
about this
We
is
did
the
talk about,
expertise it needs now. You
What?
need now to be a town clerk.
That's right.
The expertise.
what, I
you
didn't
now need.
understand you, what?
The expertise you
Right.
now need to be a
That's
town
right.
clerk.
And we did talk about if we wanted to take the newsletter and have it be a town job, we did consider that. We also did consider the website, these jobs, those two jobs themselves could be an assistant job or they could be in the town clerk job. Those could be,
Right.
those are
That's right.
two. But that's the kind of thing, and
You kind of want
this
to look
year's
at,
been pretty terrible because of the horrendous adjustment we've been going through.
Yeah.
But the
Sure.
technology isn't gonna get less, because now we have technology that will be helping the planner and the code person.
right, we do, yeah.
And it's not gonna be that once we do one thing with the phones or computers, then it's done forever. That's not gonna happen
It
either.
doesn't seem to be.
So, well, it isn't. You can't even keep, now, in spite of how you want it to be, computers and things do become obsolete, unfortunately. That's not any of our faults. That's, I would say, sorry, I'm gonna say this, but it would be the greed of the greed of these big companies. How to make the obsolete, buy something, what's that word? Planned
Planned
obsolescence.
obsolescence.
Yeah.
Do you have more line items that you were?
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, we're just getting into it here, but we'll have to decide how to approach. What other questions need to be addressed in our budgetary reviews? Um,
Yeah, and that's what we're getting to here.
Yeah, exactly, that's the
Yeah.
point of this.
So we know
session.
you wanna review some health insurance and you wanna see some things there. You wanna have something put together here for, everything's going on with any of the, employees and
Yeah.
things that are associated with the things that come out of the clerk's
Yeah.
office, or what part Julia does for me and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Now, what was the other thing that you
So
were
it kind
asking
of, I
some
mean, I
questions?
think the question that Pat's asking, correct me if you're wrong, is that, we should look at, what does the clerk's office need in sort of a total amount of money in order to do the job? Well, whether it's clerk is full-time and you got less assistants, or you got more assistants and the clerk is part-time, but how much is it gonna take
Yeah.
to actually get the work done? And we made a step in that direction by adding Julia this year, but we have a clerk who feels
How
like
about I
she's
work with Mariah?
underpaid.
How about I work with Mariah? So at the next meeting, we'll have an analysis like that with Mariah's input
Right.
into the situation, and not just looking at dollars, but looking at the whole picture.
And
We
your
can
idea,
Get some figures down.
I
sound good.
still would like to see the tiered, information about the health insurance.
And I'll
because-
get the health insurance as
Yeah,
well.
and I don't think it's because some people, I think it's perfectly reasonable for, thinking about me, when I saw my Ithaca City school taxes for
Mhm.
both of the houses, I about died, and I thought, well, if I could get a part-time job, I'd take a part-time job that paid me, that maybe I could get a little medical help for some of the things that out of pocket, but I would still have. So I think it's not that we wouldn't offer, I think it's a choice of a person who's being hired, it's also a choice of a clerk, whether or not they want to have, a full-time job and do everything, and they might need it anyway.
So
So
you're
anyway.
looking at the line item of the clerk, salaries increasing, and if so, then by what? That you guys can all decide. So that's one of the questions
Yeah.
there.
What were your other
Um,
things?
And specific.
We'll get the
content
stuff for
from-
the health insurance for you
Mariah.
guys to analyze for the future, if you wanna think about putting something in for other part-timers at another date, and we'll talk to some of those
Mhm.
part-timers. So those are two of the items that are on there.
Yeah.
I had a question too for you, Mariah.
Yes.
And there was just a couple of things in here that I was still looking for. I put in the same amount as last year for the seniors, okay? But the other one was the TCNS contract for the next year, how much per month? Did they respond
Yes.
to you in that?
I believe I think it's a 3-year contract. Catherine, is that correct?
Yeah.
It's a
And it's the
3-year
same
contract.
amount each year?
Yes.
Or did it go up at all?
I think it's a contract.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Then
but
that's,
sometimes contracts,
that's- that's it. Thanks,
I don't
Mariah.
remember
Step
any,
increases,
step-
but-
I don't know. I mean, I can ask that question too if you want, but I don't know. I assume it was because it's a contract.
Yep, so that would be the same, and what it is, I wanted to show you that TCNS account. I used that same contract amount as last year, but I also added an additional $5,000 to it. And that is because they are saying things, and Mariah and I were talking about this as well. That we need 2 new computers for next year. We need to replace 2 computers. They're gonna be like $5,000 or something. I don't know the story on that, why, the what fors, what is something becoming obsolete, or a lot of that other stuff. But I put another $5,000 in that account to accommodate for that.
So
we-
if
You
you,
may not be used. Sorry, Mariah.
if you put it in your budget to replace 2 computers a year, then you don't have at the end of maybe 8 years, all of a sudden you have to replace all the computers.
Yeah,
Right.
Pardon me. So we do have at least 1 computer that is way out of service. So for next year, we could replace 2 computers and just have that in the budget to replace 2 computers a year. Otherwise,
at the end of 10 years, everybody's computer needs to be replaced. I mean, you can do it that way if you want. Maybe there'll be a grant to replace computers, but it,
Oh, I
it,
agree.
it would be my recommendation to put it in the budget to, replace computers, a couple of computers over time.
Which means one of the things we didn't need to keep that in mind. That means we don't want to spend that money and assume it's in the extra money for the year. It's reserved for that purpose.
Reserved for that purpose in that particular, right?
And not necessarily reserved, but it's kind of the same as a solar panels reserve.
yeah.
Sitting there,
Set aside, but,
setting
It's a-
aside
but not,
waiting for
not,
use.
not the legal thing, the reserves.
It's not a legal reserve, but it's
Yes.
basically a.
It's set aside.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's there in that line item. But this, I mean, I know we're gonna run short of people are gonna
Right,
start
yeah.
bugging you and reading, but this kind of outlines the budget. This particular one's $4,338 under the tax cap. It shows a 3.022 increase in the levy. The increase in the levy in dollars is 72,377. Another thing to point out, assessments went up, so if you're starting to look through this and seeing tax rates, that even though the levy went up, your tax rates are staying pretty stable, maybe going down a little bit, okay? Some other points, then they went up by 14%, assessments did in the town. Salaries went up by 3%, but this budget represents hourly rates at the living wage of $24.64 an hour. So anybody who would have gotten 3% raise and is not up to that dollar amount, I can tell you that the difference in raising them to that amount, instead of giving them a 3% raise, but raising them to that, is around $14,000. It equates to around $14,000 by raising those. Health insurance, in this budget, there was a 14% increase in health insurance this year, okay? There was also an increase in the employee's portion according to the union contract. It went up to 10.5% for family, 11.5% for the single. You can see in here, our budget is down in the general fund. The way that did it for us, we actually came out ahead even though, and it's because of having two employees, one in the highway and one over here. Two that were single instead of family policies. And it was also, we were done paying the amount for Carl Seaman. Carl Seaman had a lot of sick time that was part of his contract when
Yeah,
he worked
paid it
here
out
as an
over time.
employee.
Yeah.
To cover some of his stuff, so that was over, so health insurance didn't affect this budget all that much, it actually helped it. But New York State retirement went up by about 15,000 between the two funds, a little over 15,000. 4457 in highway, 10,760. No, I'm sorry, 4457 in the general, 10,760 in the highway. So if you want to see where the increase in taxes are coming from, and you want to look at the account A1001, which gives you the total amount that you will be asking for in tax money. The general fund, it increased by $54,870. The highway, $17,155, and a small amount in the water of $352, of which we have a budget meeting with the water department on Wednesday.
Wednesday. And
So-
the water district budget is probably the most tentative part of this tentative budget.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that committee hasn't really talked about the budget yet.
yeah.
Well, they're
They
waiting for
said,
Laura.
well, they said for what we would do is
Well,
we
then
would
they
just
didn't meet.
increase the salaries, went down in one or two of the items in there, but increase the salaries. And they said, keep it the same as last year, but we're gonna go through it and see
See what happens.
what's up.
Yeah.
That only makes up what, a little over $10,000 of
Yeah,
the levy
right.
is the water, so I don't know how much of a difference it'll make in anything. But hey, every dollar means something. So as we're looking at this, and I can see where we're at, what you guys are thinking about, like with this other position, and I'm going through and working on things, and I'm getting a general idea of where you are. Where are you guys with the tax cap? Do you have any goal in mind to stay under the tax cap? Of course, that's what you always do,
Yeah.
right? You always try to do that. That's always a
So we're
goal to
right,
do
we're
that.
practically right at it now, and if we do anything serious, we're gonna blow past it.
You'll blow past it. There's some other things that we might be able to look at. I mean, I don't know too much wiggle room that's here. And then we went down even with the amount to be expected for mortgage tax. We went down with that because it's been going
Because it-
down.
because
So
it
we're
was
down
still
in
down.
that area a little bit. So I've got a good idea what you're thinking. To research out and to put things together and analyze things to bring it right out to light of some of the things you're thinking about. It looks like the biggest thing is right now, that town clerk salary.
Mhm.
You're looking at the health insurance options, is if a possibility for another year, at least for anything, and highway department went up very little, 17,000 in the highway department. We were able to look at some of those expenditures,
And then Keith is,
and see where they were.
Keith and Jack are doing a phenomenal job at
So they're,
efficient use of resources.
yes, they do. They really, really do. So we know where we're at. I think it was a good first budget meeting. We got some stuff out on the table. Mariah got a chance to talk, which has been a major thing, I think, in her mind. And we'll go from there.
We could perhaps. come
Oh, I
back to
know what it
this.
was. I'm gonna put together something for the clerks and anybody helping in that
Right.
clerk's office
The whole,
on what's going on with that.
The whole
And I'm gonna
list of
get with
responsibilities.
Mariah on that too.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, Mariah needs to put that information. She's the one that's
She'll
been
do it.
doing it.
Her and I will talk about it and. I'll
Sounds
put
good.
together Something.
Yeah.
Sound good, Mariah?
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool. I'll
Awesome.
call you tomorrow and we'll figure out the times we're gonna get together and work on
Okay.
this. We'll
Very
get it
good.
detailed, okay?
All right, excellent.
We,
feel better.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I am feeling. Do you guys mind if I zoom in for the rest of this meeting? I have something I'm trying to put together over there. And I kind of work on it,
I don't mind.
working on that planning issues and stuff. like
Okay,
that.
just don't make any noise, mute yourself.
Unless you like me, and then all that tax, did you guys get my last email about that tax?
which
I
time?
didn't.
What tax?
The taxes on the vouchers?
Oh,
You know, on the voucher,
Oh.
on that, the numbers that you came up with, Leslie, I like the way I point you. The numbers you came up with are the ones I came up with.
Okay,
So those numbers and the rest of anything that came through in tax on Home Depot receipts,
yeah.
yeah,
we will check to see if they have credited us back to us or not.
yeah,
And we'll pursue it one way or another.
okay. I know it's picky, but, yeah, I was like almost
No,
$40.
That's right. You know what it is they start working on the fuel shed.
Yeah,
And so the guys went down there and they got the stuff and they weren't paying attention.
yeah,
So they might have went down with a company credit card.
Right.
Is what they did.
right,
And then they didn't punch it in under the town of Danby, turned around, and charged them tax and they didn't.
Yeah. You know, it's a hassle, all you have to do it with the friends of life. I just stand there until I make sure that that machine says zero tax.
Mhm.
Thanks, you guys. Call me anytime.
Okay.
Anytime, because we put the numbers together and I'm sure Joel and I will be right on the line with each other.
Right, so we need,
Thanks, Laura.
we need to get to the regular meeting just because of the timing of the public hearing.
Because of the what?
Public
The
hearing.
timing of the public hearing, which we're leading off with.
That's
on the
right.
tax
you
cap.
know, Well, I'm the tax cap.
Yeah.
Want me to stay?
No, well, you don't have to stay.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, careful driving over there.
So with that in mind, here we're a bit over, but I'd like to call the regular meeting to order. Beginning with the public hearing, or depending on how you look at it. Call the public hearing to order before the meeting.
I gave it to him.
So we have proposed passing a local law to allow us to override the tax cap. Or anyone from the public would like to comment on this proposal? Guys? Rhonda,
You have 10 minutes.
yeah. Rhonda,
Uh,
hi,
Yes, I am opposed to the tax cap. I'm opposed to raising the tax cap, and I'll tell you why. When Mariah became the town clerk, I sent her an email and I said, don't do any more in your job than the state requires you to do under the definition of town clerk. Now, the 45 to $50,000 that a person is getting for being the town clerk at this point is sufficient for the amount of work that the state requires her to do. If you add on all of the other stuff that she does that isn't required by the state, that's required by the town and the website and everything else, that's not town clerk work, then you're adding all of this stuff on at taxpayer expense, and it shouldn't even be considered town clerk work. You need to call it website manager, whatever you want to call it, but it isn't the town clerk's job to be the website manager. So if you want somebody to do both, then pay them for the town clerk work and pay them extra for the website or whatever. But you can't put the two together and say, this is the town clerk's job. The town clerk's job is described in state law. The second thing is, I oppose this $6,200 for the Jennings Pond. We simply do not have the number of people coming to the pond, and not simply because the water is quote unquote dirty, but because there's just a lot of people in this town have their own ponds and indoor or in-ground swimming pools. And if you take a look at some of the streets around here, and I can give you the names, there you'll see that if you look at this Google Maps, you'll see all of these swimming pools. People are not coming here. They're going elsewhere. They're going to the pool downtown in Ithaca, so by GIAC. So I'm opposed to spending that money and sort of blaming the geese on it or blaming the vegetation or whatever. It's not that. Anyway, I think that there are lots of ways that you can get around this and save money, and I'm sure if you put your heads together, you'll be able to figure it out. Thank you.
Okay, Ted? Mr. Crane?
Sure. I'd like to address only one thing, and I'm really reiterating what I've said in the past about it. I'm in favor of passing a bill to allow you to override the tax cap. However, with that favor, with that support, comes the requirement, or at least in my opinion, that the town should do everything it can not to be wasting money in the first place. And I've had some experience watching this town. I've certainly had experience watching larger units of government, and used to be that the town was pretty frugal in its spending. Larger units of government tend to have a habit of, pardon me, I believe it's called CYA, cover your ass spending. Things like taking maintenance contracts on things that, on items that probably would cost less to fix than the maintenance contract. Things like hiring consultants to do computer security when simple, prudent measures, or even asking volunteers to help you out. Basically, the town has gotten used to spending many units of small amounts, and $1 here and $1 there, and pretty soon you're talking big money. And I think the town could be much more prudent in its spending. And if it were, I would be wholeheartedly in support of the tax cap override. I don't want to see it an override which is based on excessive spending for things that the town could do much more cheaply. You don't have to act like a big government. You have to act like a local government that makes use of resources. Thank you.
Does anyone else like to comment on this proposal? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and move on to our regular business. Additions or deletions? Leslie noticed, and I'm glad she did, that approval of the Cartman easement is not on the agenda. So that should be added. You want to put it at the end?
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
10-7.
Good. Okay. Privilege of the floor. Is anyone who'd like to address the board?
We also, I didn't see budget transfer on there.
It's not,
Because there aren't any this time.
there are, yes.
There are?
Yes, there are. She sent it out with
There was one.
with the summary information she sent.
Oh, I didn't see it.
So like a
We should do it before we do the warrant,
For the warrant.
9.1 or whatever.
budget transfer first
Um,
before there.
Okay. Thanks for catching that. Anything else you noticed?
Not for me.
Okay. Now privilege of the floor?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Is anyone who'd like to address the board? Rhonda?
I just want to oops, yeah, I just want to, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I just want to confuse things a little more here. I was in Lansing's website yesterday, and this isn't a commentary on all of the websites of the towns in the county, but I thought that our website was much better than theirs, and that I like a lot of the things that Mariah has been doing. And I think that we have a very nice website and it could be even better. And so I just wanted you to know that I think it's becoming a very nice workable website for all the efforts that we're putting into it. And I think we probably have Mariah mostly to thank for that. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I liked our website better than Lansing's.
Well, thanks for that. Ted?
Actually, you get two for the price of one here. And Pamela. So this is in the nature of an announcement. Today is October 7. That makes Sunday the 13th, this upcoming Sunday.
Harvest Festival in the park, 1 to 5, lots of great stuff happening.
Yes, if we're looking kind of tired right now, that's because we just hauled 150 pumpkins from a friendly farmer in Candor to the park.
So we're all ready to load the trebuchet. Come on out.
Excuse me. Can you provide me, the town clerk, some information? Do you have a handout or something that you could send me? So we can get
I'd suggest you read the.
There's a Facebook event on the Southfield Danby Facebook.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much.
Yep. It's also in the Danby area news, the Danby news from the community council that came out recently. So you can find it at the community council website as well.
You shouldn't have any trouble finding it. No. I lost my train of thought. And if you happen to know any people who are, if not young, actually young, perhaps just young at heart will do, this is a place to send them. I hope to see all of you there. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay. Is there any correspondence, Mariah?
No, I don't have any correspondence.
Okay. Under announcements, as you know, it's part of our appointment policy to announce that every meeting in October and November, what positions are going to expire at the end of the year. So when we, Mariah mostly, with a little bit of pivoting from me, have put together a list of what's running off the end here. And it's shared, I believe, with everybody. I'm not trying to remember where it is, but anyway, there is one position in all of the, there's a BZA position, there's a planning board position, there are 3 CAC positions, 3 youth commission positions.
No, there's more than 3. There's 3 people whose terms are expiring, but there's
Right.
That's
up to
right.
15 people. can
Well,
be
sure,
on.
but but that's what I'm talking about. There are three
Right, but
expiring terms. And
We will take more, so I don't want it to sound like there's only 3.
oh, no, well, same thing with TAC. There's actually more positions than there are expiring positions. And here's the list that has been helpfully screen shared by Mariah. So let's see, we covered everything. Yeah, those are the ones. There's also the Recreation Partnership rep, which Monty does for us. And do I remember correctly that this one's a little different in that it doesn't really expire at the end of the year?
Well, I keep finding that it expires every year. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
that stuff that I.
But is it a calendar year appointment?
I don't think so, but we can
Well, I
check.
mean, all of our other ones are calendar year.
Yeah,
appointments. So, but
yeah.
I think that one was different.
Yeah, there was something funny about it, but
Yes.
it also changed in there, so.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we
We
may
just-
need to, with the time, we may like we recommend and then
Yeah.
they make the appointment and that happens before the end of the year or something. That's why we need to check it out to see
Yeah. We
when
also need to add the town historian to that list, because that's an every year.
that's in every year.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, this is sort of the list that we. And it's mainly to get people to say whether or not they're interested in re-upping.
Yes,
Is what
exactly.
This is, in addition to the empty spots.
Mhm.
But so there are the other things that we might wanna check out are the threat assessment team people.
Right.
We've got water, George, Skip
Isn't
is
that,
up,
is that not on here?
no,
Oh, because we talked about it earlier, it just
Yeah.
didn't make the list.
Skip is up, George Fairchild, child is
Yeah,
up in.
Oh, no, it's
the
at the top of
water.
it's at the very
Yeah.
top. It's
Where?
it's
Oh,
number
I
2.
didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yep. And, yeah, okay, that's funny.
I thought I had it on. there.
Yep, there it is. Okay,
I think Mariah had a threat assessment.
and that was Catherine, Steve, Laura, Tyler, and the clerk.
Yeah, we made that appointment in January.
What did you
Yeah.
just say?
The threat assessment team,
What,
Yeah.
I didn't understand the words you said.
the threat assessment
I
team.
got that.
Are there people on it? Well, the question is whether or not, I don't think those,
Need to make sure they still wanna do it.
yes, but I mean, the terms, I guess the terms are only for a year. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we usually make those in January.
Yeah.
Then we make them all.
They're all in
most of
January.
January, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one more person on that, Mariah. It's
Tyler. she got
Tyler.
that.
Tyler, Jordan,
Got it.
A-N or E-N?
full beans.
I don't know.
What's
I
that?
don't know.
Jordan.
Is it Jordan? Is it Ian or Ian?
I have JORDAN.
It's probably A.
Okay, now it's an A.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
Anything else? Or is that everything?
that's it, for me, yeah, that's good enough.
But now, anyway,
Good
okay,
enough.
all right. So that's,
Well, since this is a public meeting, I think we should say, remind people, even though it says it on the website, that If anybody's interested out there, or you have friends that are, that the application can be filled out on the town website.
Right,
And people can find out about the various associated departments, councils.
Yeah.
Whatever,
that too is on the
by
website.
pages on the website.
Mhm. Okay, we have the report from the town clerk and from the code enforcement officer. And we have our town planner here to give us a briefing on what is going on in his department.
Hello. A little sniffly today.
Right.
It's just allergies. Well, keep a little bit of
It's
this
allergy.
days. All right, so just for development review, we have a planning board next week. There's two minor subdivisions on for review. They're both across the street from each other on Jersey Hill. One is at 201 Jersey Hill Road, to subdivide 10 acres off from a 70-acre parcel. And that one's in for a final review. And then for an initial review across the street is 202 Jersey Hill Road. Same, similar proposal, subdivide a 10-acre parcel off from an 87-acre parcel. So those are going before the board. And then we're reviewing the comprehensive plan. So we have all the goals. I just today, I created a whole kind of tracking spreadsheet that will be used to mark what has been started, what's ongoing, what's been completed, and then, you know, getting further into what's not relevant anymore. Maybe some things just aren't relevant. And so my hope is that this will generate a lot of discussion, I would imagine, and then also at the town board level too. But the plan is to do this over the next 3 months, so starting with this month and through the end of the year. And kind of tagging on to that discussion, that really good discussion we had last time about creating a committee for zoning revisions and for a comprehensive plan, and the thought that we came to, which was good, was they probably shouldn't overlap. That I think that would just be too much for everybody involved, especially since there would likely be overlapping members of each committee and just for my time in particular. So
I didn't put it on the agenda because I remembered that you wanted to consult with your colleagues in the context of the conference this week.
right, yes, and so my hope is that in the next, or my plan is that I'll just say by the end of the year, in working with the planning board as well, I'll be able to generate a little bit of a report or a proposal for the town board of, here's how I think that we should go about these two large projects in terms of what planning and zoning will be working on into the new year. As I said last time, typically comprehensive plan is updated first, and that guides the discussion about zoning. There are certain zoning amendments that are more ministerial, so maybe those can be worked on before some of the larger thematic changes that might be better to wait until after the comprehensive plan sort of provides a little bit of direction on that. So all that to say that we're reviewing the goals, and I think that'll generate a lot of context around how to go about both projects, the comprehensive plan update and the zoning. I mean, every day I find something in the zoning that I think might work better a different way, but I think that's just the nature of that's just the nature of
Keep
the
a
work.
list, keep a list.
Right. There's no Board of Zoning Appeals meeting in October. And actually on that, the last Board of Zoning Appeals case, and I'll just update the board on this, that there was a variance approved for the corner of Heisey Road and Danby Road for that dilapidated house.
Yes.
That house created a little bit of a stir because last week it was on fire. So the
Really?
person who, but everything's all, it's all taken care of. In fact, the house is gone. So the person had gotten the variance request approved. His offer was contingent upon that. He bought the property, started doing demo work. Some things caught on fire. It got put out, but it's all been raised, cleared. The site is all ready for a new house. He submitted the building permit today, actually, for that. So I just want to update you all on that because there was some activity south of here. The special event law, I had said that I'd be coming back in October for the environmental quality review. I'd like to push that into the first week of November. Just the plan for that, and then maybe the public hearing and adoption in December. I still want to put together the whole application package for that. So, but the goal is to have it done by the end of the year. Because I think next year is going to be very big if the comprehensive plan is going to be updated.
That'd be good to get it done.
Yeah. So those are the high level items right now. There is a planning conference in downtown Ithaca this week, so I won't be in the office from Wednesday through Friday. I'll have my phone with me. There'll be a few planning board members that are going to be going to the conference. One Board of Zoning Appeals member as well. We're all kind of sharing the pass. And then Joel will also be there intermittently.
But more than not.
Any questions for me?
Nada.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you for helping.
Meeting minutes. These have been, I was making comments until this afternoon, because I didn't have a chance to review them until today. And then Mariah was having trouble accessing my comments, but I guess she has now. So Mariah, did you look at it and find
Yes, I
it to
approved.
be
Yeah, all
okay?
your comments were great. They were, they were just little fixes. I love those kind of things.
So with that, I move that we approve the minutes.
You mean we don't get to see what you did?
If you'd like to.
Because you did.
If you'd like to, we could defer if you want.
Complaining.
Well, I'm complaining about it, but I will, guessing that most of your things are minor little.
But they are, but-
bits and-
Well, it was mostly commas and, the Otter software, doesn't, and I just take, when people speak for a long time, I just pretty much take what the software says and put it in there, but that always needs to be edited. Commas need to be put in, taken away, capital letters. Sentences, when you stop and clear your throat, Otter thinks, puts a period because it thinks it's the end of a sentence. So those kind of things are greatly appreciated. Thank you, Joel. But there was no changes, no significant changes.
There's no significant change in the things that the people said is.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Joel worded what he said a little better, but it was what he said, so he can do that.
As long as
Yeah,
it
that
doesn't
cousin.
change what I actually said. But,
Hey, Joel, I just want to let you know, there are some folks that came here and they might have missed privilege of the floor to speak about South Curtis Road.
Oh,
So I don't know if there's a point in the
Oh,
agenda to talk, they were asked to come to the meeting just to talk about some road maintenance issues that they're having. So maybe there's a point in the agenda they could
Let's just do
speak.
the minutes and
I was a
then
little surprised that,
Okay.
yeah,
go right in.
they didn't say anything back then.
Amend
but-
that.
Yeah, they didn't, right, okay.
Okay.
All right, so is there willing to entertain it? I mean, I'm okay to postpone approval if you want to take a look at it.
It's been seconded.
It has been seconded.
Yeah.
Okay, are we good to vote on it then?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, Ryan?
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
yes.
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now it has been brought to our attention
Privilege of the floor.
that we're gonna go, that there are people here who would have liked to address the board, and happy to have you do that now. You want to come up? You'll have to come up here, maybe
There's a microphone.
pull up a chair.
If you could just come on up here, you can just address the board that way. He's a little hard of hearing.
Yeah.
It'll pick you up, it'll pick both of you up just fine, yeah.
No, but he can't hear good.
Oh, yeah.
So I was trying to direct him to where go ahead and tell him.
The problem I got, I don't understand why, but I talked to the road supervisor, and this was a year ago, that they fixed the road from my driveway to Fisher Settlement Road, which is about 2.5, 3 miles. And
We're on Curtis Road Extension.
Ah, Curtis Road, okay,
Okay.
great.
Mhm.
see, what I was looking for, maybe was if I could get a couple loads of stones, I guess I could put them in there. I've been maintaining the road. I mean, every time we get a storm, I cut the trees out.
Mhm.
And there's been nothing done to the road since they logged it. The state logged it here about, what, 5, 6 years ago,
Yeah.
at least that. Anyway, the log trucks, I mean,
Yeah.
made all the holes and stuff. And I could wash my truck, and by the time I get out to the main road, you wouldn't even know I washed it.
Right.
Did you,
And,
did you talk to the supervisor?
No, it
Kate?
didn't go very well.
Oh,
So
sorry.
that's why somebody suggested coming to the board meeting.
I was an excavator for 40+ years, so I mean, pretty much know what needs to be done.
Right.
I mean, at the time, he had the grader and the roller there, and he was right by my driveway coming out, and I says to him, I says, wouldn't take you a couple hours, because the road was dry.
Mhm.
There was no water in the holes or nothing. Oh, he says, I can't do it. He says, I gotta go to Michigan Hollow Road. And, but he says, I'll get back. He said, I'll get back to you. Well, this was last year. Well, this year I hit him up and he got mad at me.
We
Because
talked, I'm sorry.
he got mad at me because I said that you promised you'd come back.
Is this the highway superintendent?
Yeah, Keith.
It is Keith.
Mhm.
Huh.
I'm a little surprised at that. Keith is pretty
know.
mild. Matter.
It's from our driveway to,
It's a road,
are you familiar with Karenville?
no. That doesn't mean
No.
anything.
Where.
But it's, the road itself changes character at your driveway. So-
Yes,
True.
yes, as you're coming off on the Hill Road in, it's pretty good till they
Yeah,
fixed
to
it
your
up
right.
nice till to the tower, where it goes up into the tower. That's all really good. It's from where they stop from the tower road, that back down in,
It is
as you
down
go
way.
in, it just gets progressively worse. You come to our driveway and then it's fine from there on out to the Fisher Settlement Road.
Right.
And, all we like is some gravel and stuff put in the holes or drained or something, but as he.
I just had stone or something to put in the holes. I mean, I don't expect him to come in there with a grader and stuff now that there's water in the holes and stuff. I mean, you just
Pretty
make it
dry,
worse.
Right, it just keeps getting worse that way.
But if I could get some stone, I mean, we got a small tractor at the club over there, I could put it in. I mean, but I hate that.
So you were just
To go
wondering.
buy a couple load of stones, I mean, to fix the road when I'm paying taxes.
It probably,
So you're up in Curtis Road,
Extension,
I'll go up and take a look, and then maybe you could wave at me, you can see me up there. And
Well,
then,
it's
and
our
I'll-
place that's back in, so we'll
Off to the
have
right.
to.
are you the ones with, do you have the dogs, the beagles?
Oh, we're
That you-
known all over. town.
Well, I've hiked on that road, and so sometimes
Yes.
we go by the dog park, but I'm just trying to make sure that
But that's
that's the
because
place.
they don't see anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about the beagles, I'm just trying to make sure I know the
Yeah,
You
location.
should meet her dogs.
Yeah.
You're right.
My dogs bark too. When they see, when they see them, I was just curious.
They also bark at the bear and the coyotes.
Right.
so the only thing I should tell you is that Keith
is
is
a town.
independent about what he does and what he doesn't do with his
Yeah.
budget. And we don't tell him what to do, and he doesn't tell us what to do. So we can try to talk to him about, disrepair and how it's a safety concern, right? And
Yeah,
it's also the
we
road
haven't
repair.
asked for anything, he cuts the trees out when we go over the road.
Right, I've done the
himself.
same thing on my road.
Yeah, and, so we can get in and out, it's not bad, and we don't ask
The
to
lady-
plow.
I mean, it sounds like you'd be happy.
One
with
storm.
Gravel.
There was a lady stranded down there,
Yeah,
and I went out, I mean, as soon as the storm got over,
You're good neighbor.
she was stranded.
Yeah,
And she wanted to go to Cayuga Medical Center. I said, my gosh, lady, I said, you can't possibly go that way. I said,
yeah,
you gotta go back to 96B. She said, it's all closed. I said, I realize that, but I said, it's a main road and they'll get you through as quick as they can.
right, yeah,
But
right.
But she was in,
it's-
she was really
She was
in
in
the wrong
desperate
place to be.
situation, yeah,
that's-
right.
well,
Can I have a,
Okay.
can I borrow your pen again? Can you give me your name again?
it's, his official name is Robert Smith.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, right. But he goes by Lynn, Lynn. And I'm Diane,
Okay. And your phone number?
315-762-2128.
2128, great. Well, I'll talk to him this week. And at least I'll give you an explanation. And,
You guys, he's coming on right now. He'll
Oh, there
be,
you go.
if you could look for him, pull him right in because I'm sure that he'd like
I
to
thought
answer.
you meant he was coming out there.
yeah,
He is.
Yeah, there.
He
Right
will be
there.
momentarily.
He's on now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
His wife's pictures of.
His wife's pictures
You
there.
just have to unmute yourself.
Down there at the bottom, okay? Yeah, you're looking good there, Keith.
Yeah.
Put your mic on, buddy. He may not want to say
It
anything.
takes a little time. Let's let him come on.
Yeah.
He's coming.
Looking for the unmute.
Yeah.
Is
There he goes.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
We're on. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So we had some concerns up on, what was it, Curtis Road? Curtis Extension.
First
Yeah.
road extension. yes.
Okay, I would just like to add, I haven't heard much of the conversation. I'm just picking up the tail end of it.
Right.
That I have spoke with these people. And we've done more work to this road than we have to all of our other seasonal roads. This is a seasonal road that it's actually in better shape than many of our other seasonal roads. You know, get in your car, get in your truck, go look at some of our other seasonal roads. You know, I do look at all the other seasonal roads where people are staying up in their cabins, and we do pay more attention to those roads. So I'd be happy to take anybody for a ride to go look at these roads. This road has had a lot more work done to it in the last year and a half since I've been in office than any of our other seasonal roads. You know, this is the guy that stopped me on the side of the road and F-bombed me because I didn't do what I said I was gonna do. And I never said that I was gonna actually, in fact, do anything to the road. I said we would try to get there with time that we had. So I just wanted to let you all be aware of that, and well, we'll try to, you know, we can try to do our best as what we can with what time we have. I've been over the road. There's no huge changes with that road. But I don't know what's your issue today, if you don't mind me asking you.
Just that we'd like a little bit of gravel or something in those big holes.
All right,
Stones in there so that it's not great big mud holes.
right. Unfortunately, in the seasonal roads, when you don't have ditches, you don't have any form, there's no culvert pipes, you're always gonna have water in the road. There's no getting around that. A little gravel's not gonna help that. We can put it in time to time. We can, you know, we're not saying we won't do it, but we've done a lot of work to Curtis Road. You know, I came out and dozed it in 18. Some of these other roads that we've done haven't had any work in 15 years. So it's not that we're not paying attention to you. We do as much as we can for all of our residents. You're no different than any but you know, it is a seasonal limited use road, so. You know, we have to keep that into mind as well. We can't be out there every week to work on seasonals. We have too many other things to do too in our. So.
So Keith, you weren't here for the initial conversation, but it sounded like it's only a relatively small stretch that's problematic at this point, because it
Gotcha.
noted that, you know, the road is much improved overall, but then there's just this one little stretch.
Gotcha, okay.
There's nothing, there's nothing from my driveway this way. There hasn't been a thing done for 5 or 6 years since they logged.
I just sent a backhoe up there the day after that we had that horrible discussion, and I came out there that day still, and I looked at the problem, and I sent a machine up there to look at the wood up there that you had cut. We had severe tree down everywhere in Danby. Thank you for cutting them. But I had a machine come up the day after. He pushed all the logs back. He did clear out some of the water holes that you discussed. That's kind of what we do in a seasonal road. We don't do surface work to them all the time. It's not, you know, these roads, we can't get to them, but maybe once a year if we're lucky. And it's depending on what it is. We can't always regrade it and put tons of rock in them, and we're trying to make them better as we go, but it's.
Steve, can I ask you something?
Sure.
How come from the Hill Road to Michigan Hollow Road, it's a seasonal road? You keep that wide open. I mean, there's nobody lives on that. We live on the road.
Hill Road to
We
Michigan Hollow.
We pay taxes. And all I ask for is, if I could have a couple of loads of stone, I could even put them in by hand, if I had to, in the holes, just to make it so it was passable. Nobody wants to down in there because the holes are terrible.
All right.
I mean,
Yeah.
fill up the water.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna say this, is that at this point, we're
I'm
not.
not asking for a lot.
I know, at this point, we're not gonna totally resolve it at this point. I'd like to mediate this a little bit. So I'd like to go out to Curtis Road myself, take a look at what's going on, because I have full belief that you're talking, you know, as honestly as you can about your dilemma. And I think that Keith is trying. I know him as a reputation for keeping our roads in good shape. But now I need to look at it and see myself, to see what kind of shape we're talking about, and maybe what you do need to make it more passable.
Right,
And maybe it's not something that's gonna take all that much.
That's fair.
And at least let me come out and talk to you, and so you can point things out, and then I can talk to Keith. I'm not guaranteeing.
Believe me, I'm not trying to be a complainer, you know.
No, I understand that. I get upset about potholes in roads that were, you know, which are paved or not paved myself. So
But I know he's been working on seasonal
he's been
road.
doing an amazing job of bringing a lot of stuff back up that has been, you know, left for years. And until he got here, it was a cursory job they did, and it never really got fixed. But now, because Keith is here, it is. So let's work on a, good reputation and see what we can do. I have your phone number, and I'll go up and take a look.
That's fair.
And I'll come right up to your house. And we have a house.
Watch out for the beagles.
500.
500, great. So I'll come up.
I got a field gate, the number's right on the post.
Curtis, 500 Curtis, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll come up in the next couple of days. That's okay.
Right now it's dry, don't try to
It's
put it
not
out there if it's wet.
That's a great time to work on stuff, because it is really dry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we'll see.
You know, I
what we can
appreciate it.
come
I
up
mean,
with.
I don't know where to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you got the right guys here, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
check it out.
Right, let's check it out, see what's
I
possible.
appreciate it very much.
Right, and if you're talking about a load, maybe we'll stick it in the back of my pickup truck and bring it over and drop it in. I would do the same thing for my, my driveway, so
So,
we'll see.
You guys come down, stop in for coffee.
All right,
Thank you, and the dogs won't hurt you.
yeah, couple of days, next couple of days.
Thank you.
Yeah, for the record, Keith, I was remarking as I drove over here that you've got Ball Hill Road in the best shape I've ever seen it in 45 years.
Well, thank you for that. It's, we're doing the best we can, and yeah, there's, you know, some things are unfortunate with the seasonal roads. I get it. There's a lot of, I don't know what to do with these people that are staying in these seasonal roads out there. I do try to pay closer attention. I try to make sure that, the EMS vehicles and stuff can get back in there, need be. I'm always thinking if there was a fire or something, there's no turnarounds back in there. There's not a seasonal road out there. I know exactly, he does have some water holes there in the front, and we weren't able to get out there with a grader. The year after we graded the whole other end, that came out pretty good. And we did do a little bit of work on his holes at one time a couple years ago. But they'll come right back we'll go out, we'll fill them this time too. We'll go out there, put a little bit in there, but they just come right back because there's no culverts, there's no ditches, it's a real short-term repair is what I'm saying. So, but it's probably getting to that point again. But I know that these roads are, if we had to get a fire truck back into them and the EMS or something, they probably wouldn't have anywhere to turn around once they got there, but it's it's doable. So, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're looking for. So
Thanks, Keith.
you're very welcome.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks for letting me in. All right, have a good evening.
Thank you, Keith.
Okay, let's see. We're at the warrant.
Yeah, and there is something I would like.
Oh, the budget transfers first.
There's something I would like to say first about the reports that we get.
Okay.
I want to thank Laura for providing a summary report with a balance for each account. I want to thank Mariah for asking for that information. I want to apologize for not asking for that information sooner. I have served on enough organizations as a member, officer, or treasurer to know that the financial report with expenditures and due balances from all accounts are expected at each meeting. Mariah has shown me a supervisor's report from the town of Enfield generated by the Williamson software that Laura has repeatedly recommended for the past few years. I think she's been correct that it is very good for use by towns because that is what it was written for. The supervisor's report generated by that software is good. It consists of several reports, one of which corresponds to the content that Laura has provided. It is formatted to be easy to read and understand as it breaks down the accounts into the categories that are in our budget, which makes it easier to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be a good report once we can get access to that.
Mm-hmm. Laura nodding too.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Like I've said, I've had some things and I'm working on some bank recs and getting that all completely up to date so that we can use that function of the software. But in the meantime, I mean, we have been, I know at the beginning of the year, we haven't been providing that account analysis. Maybe as often as we should, we kind of keep our eyes on the accounts and know that they're not going over budget or whatever, the one that associates with those account, it's part of that account thing. We do it periodically and through there, but we need to get to it where we do it for every single abstract. I agree. So when we start the next year too, we will for sure make sure we have one for every abstract, no matter how early in the year it is. The other supervisor's report that comes from there is I know exactly what report they're talking about from Williamson. It is a detail of expenditure report that's coming off the system. So I know exactly which one it is. And that will be that that's available to us and we can use that. In the meantime, I've got something that shows the same thing. But as far as the supervisor's report, that just shows this is the amount of money in the bank, this was the increase, this was the decrease, and this is the amount of money you have in the bank now. So that's in there too. We'll get to those in those reports, but in the meantime, we can make sure that everything is what it needs to be and that you guys are getting more reports. So thank you, Pat, very much.
So the budget transfer first.
Yeah, I didn't see these, so you have to,
Just one transfer. It's just something in the highway fund.
so what's being proposed, transfer from what to what to what?
It's approval to transfer funds from snow removal to general repair in the highway, for $2,000, $2,722.
And what prompted that, Laura?
Well,
General
we
repair.
paid for some, I noticed it. That's why you got it a little bit later. I noticed it with something that came through on the current abstract under road repair, and it was for some material that went to that line. Now, this budget transfer, for you guys to take your responsibility, that's why the amount's so low there. It's exactly the amount. But there are some things in that road repair line, and I need to do an analysis for the next board meeting of it. And because some of that in there was probably CHIPS amounts too.
Well,
Because I know we're not really over budget in that, but I think for what your eyes are viewing, that you should do this transfer just to show that you're looking at it and you saw that it showed a negative balance. Although I'll have it analyzed and you'll know for the next meeting what part of that doesn't really belong in that line item. We run
And we
things through that throughout the year.
A negative number, which is why it has to be
That's
transferred.
what precipitated it.
Mhm.
Yes.
I move we make the transfer specified.
I already moved it.
Oh, a second.
Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
Any discussion besides what has already transpired? Hearing none. Mariah?
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, onto the warrants.
Okay. I'll move the general fund voucher 312 to 336 for $17,073.69.
Oh, cause I thought you took out the
Tax.
tax. Okay, I'll second that. I had a question about it, which I couldn't seem to figure out what was going on. It looked like 332 and 327 were for the same thing.
For different months? What are you, what?
No, it was Acrobat, the Acrobat software for Greg.
Yeah, I think it was different. What
Is
numbers?
that a
Sorry.
monthly charge?
What numbers? Sorry,
327 and 332,
322,
332.
332. I thought it was different months. No, okay. The planner. 322. Planner.
It says planner both times, but the account numbers are different.
Yeah.
What is that for? What's the dollar amount, guys?
1999.
Yeah, that is something that is his Adobe. And
Yeah,
that
it's a
comes
month.
in every month, but that
Yeah,
might
so it's
be,
2 months worth.
2 months worth?
might be 2 months worth, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
we pay for that by the
Paid in
month.
2 different months,
Huh.
so.
Hmm.
Almost paid in August and almost paid in September.
Oh, okay, then I'm all
Nice
good.
catch.
Yeah. Well, what about this? They read the same way.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. Mariah?
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll move the highway, vouchers 173 to 187 for $62,478.13.
15 cents?
13, because there was a 5 cent
Right.
boo-boo.
I see that, evidently. Second, what did you already do? Any discussion?
Okay,
Okay.
did you catch that?
Hope not. Mariah,
Claudius,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gannon.
yes.
Thank you.
I'll say thank you. I'll move the West Danby Water District vouchers 27 through 25 through 29 for $1,610.79.
second,
Any discussion? Okay, Mariah,
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
yes,
Gannon.
yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Okay. On to business. There's a resolution, attached to the agenda, authorizing,
Not, one of the tasks, it doesn't open on the agenda. It goes to the high,
Goes to the code.
yeah, it goes to the code office.
oh, it doesn't work for it. Oh,
It was in the folder.
it didn't fold it though.
Yeah, that's on.
Yeah,
the
Improperly
that's
linked.
what I think.
We have it, but it's not
Yeah.
available.
Yeah,
Not available. But maybe somebody could read.
well,
There are two different versions. So there was a first one.
Yeah.
yeah, I think
The
I
second
did it,
one.
tweaked it.
But I kind of liked the last part of the original one. Yeah.
I incorporated
This
it.
one. I mean,
I Joel's some fancy words.
Yeah.
I never like.
I thought I incorporated.
I mean, I liked, I liked yours. I thought it needed to say "and" at the end of everything. And then now therefore be it resolved
Mhm.
that the Danby Town Board supports and authorizes Sydney Camp 41 to raise funds in place.
That's Joel's. I thought.
That's my
not-
language, yeah.
That's
I did not
Joel's?
write that.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was yours.
But, yeah.
The proposed markers subject to town board approval of wording and location.
That's
That's,
not what I wrote.
no, okay, so this was yours, okay.
Probably. It's
I mean,
okay.
I thought it was, not that they would, put it somewhere, I hope that, but I assume there'll be a discussion about where it should go and what it looks like.
They want to have the approval to do it before they start raising
Right.
funds.
Yeah,
Right,
which
That's
is what
why
this will
Right.
happen.
this is
but I
all
mean,
about. They
they're
very amenable.
right,
Yeah.
but
There you go.
that they're gonna authorize them to not only raise the fund, but the ultimate placement of such a marker.
That's
To
not what
me.
I suggested.
Hmm?
I don't think that's what I suggested.
Well, that's what you originally said, that's why I changed it.
Yeah, I don't know which one was.
I don't even have
whose.
mine anymore.
I thought this
All I
was.
want, all
Anyway,
the
just
thing
put-
I had,
Yeah,
the only problem I
She's got a
have with
screen
it
share
is
now.
saying
In place.
chronicling and the word emplacement.
Yeah. If you have better words,
No, I don't
putting it
care.
up.
All they want to do is be able to raise the money.
Yeah.
right,
And then come to us and we can look at everything they write. We can talk about where they want to put it. We
Yeah.
can talk about what kind of steps, how it's supposed to be,
oh, okay,
everything.
well, okay,
So
But
that's what this says, I think.
yeah.
Hmm.
I thought that this one said, yeah,
We authorize them to raise the money.
I would like to if we didn't even say we would entertain the motion yet for the resolution, did we?
Yeah,
but we're
no, it hasn't been moved yet
we're having a
because
discussion.
we're having a discussion, it's true, we should have, it was a question of what, what to move, I
What are
guess.
we, yeah, what are we,
You will you move this one? Yeah.
I'll move
What's on the screen?
that we authorize a marker chronicling the history of the Civil War monument at the Danby Town Hall And for the eventual placement of the
Yeah, yeah.
marker.
I'll second that.
Out there.
Yeah. Oops, took it away. We're okay with what it said anyway.
Want me to put it back?
I think we're okay with it.
We're fine.
Okay. Thank you.
So any discussion further?
No, I think that's cool.
Okay.
They're gonna,
Can
Yeah, I
just
think
add
it's cool
that?
too.
So is the resolution about the actual placement of it?
no.
No,
So-
basically,
No,
it's done,
Just that you go after money.
we're saying it's, we approve them doing it and raising money to do it.
Yeah.
And then we'll decide collectively how to,
And
where to put it, what's gonna say.
The way it's written now?
Yeah.
I'm good with that, though.
That's good.
So we ready?
Yeah.
I guess we're ready. Okay.
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, the disposition of surplus equipment policy proposal.
I thought your changes were okay,
Okay.
since they weren't substantial.
No, they were just clarifying.
Yeah, no, they were good.
And I left it in track changes so people could see and make sure they were okay. So I move the disposition of surplus equipment policy proposal as finessed by all.
Okay, I'll second it this time.
Any discussions further? Yeah. Okay, vote.
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson. Hanson?
yes.
No, Hanson. Did you answer?
You already said yes.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon?
Yes,
Throwing me a curveball there.
yeah. Well, it just, you said yes, you just didn't hear it.
Yes.
So we have our first proposal for.
Yeah.
And it's been worked through the process as being qualifying.
It's like a big deal. too.
It is a big deal.
Yeah. So what do we have? Do we have to approve this?
Yes,
Okay. You wanna make a motion and we can second it, we can discuss it?
yeah. Why don't you go ahead and move it?
Okay, I'll move
I'll second it.
the Toma development. Well,
Well, it's
proposal for the
for 1845 Danby
for
Road.
the Community Development Income Property Rehab Program, first project.
And this is at 1845 Danby Road?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, but that's the reason it says 1845 Danby Road was because that's what we decided we wanted to share with the public about what's going on with these policies, as opposed to all the other stuff that's
Yeah.
there. So, if you, what you're doing here with approving this is authorizing me to sign all the relevant paperwork.
Right.
And the board is okay with this project.
Did we get a second on that?
I'll second it.
I think I already
I
did.
thought it was second.
Okay, I didn't. first.
Okay, I won't second it.
Take it.
You have both the motion and the second, right, Mariah?
Take it back.
Yes.
Yeah,
Connors and seconded by Gagnon.
yeah. Okay.
Ready?
Is
We have
there,
questions?
is there a limited amount of money that,
Mhm.
how much, how much?
Altogether, it's only what, 100 and, how much is the total, Greg? For the CDBG multifamily housing grant?
It's only about 120,000, so Olivia puts in 20. The town will kick in 100 from state funds.
Yeah, but the question was, what's the
Okay, so
total
we
pot?
have like 20 left over for somebody else.
No, the question is, how much is the pot altogether?
Yeah.
Which pot of money?
The multifamily housing rehab
Multifamily.
pot,
Yeah.
yeah. How much is that?
Well, the award was $153,900. But a certain portion of that goes to Toma.
Right.
So it comes out to be about 100, I mean, I have to look up the exact numbers. something about that, but,
So this eats up most of it.
oh, yeah, it will go entirely towards Olivia's property.
Okay,
Yes, oh, yeah. That would be it.
and this is something that the program we could apply for the program again next year?
We,
Or do you think it's not?
maybe,
gonna happen again?
maybe, it seemed like the interest level was pretty low. There aren't that many.
Multifamily.
Multifamily. There are more duplexes than not.
Right.
Oftentimes, though, people live in one side of the duplex and they rent out the other.
Right.
This was entirely for an income generating
Right.
property. So Olivia's met that, and then somebody else was qualified for it, but he didn't. He's further down on Danby Road. We got the address, but he didn't go forward with the paperwork.
Okay.
So
But is it like the other programs that not the multifamily?
Well, it's like the
but
single family in terms of,
family Where
well,
we can
well, actually-
reapply every year
Yeah.
to get,
yeah.
do you think that this will happen again?
Maybe, I think that certainly compared to the homeowner housing rehabilitation grant, I think that has more of a traction.
Right,
I mean, I'm getting,
Right.
it seems like every other week
No,
I
I
get
know, I
somebody
mean,
asking for
no,
information for that.
there's a lot of need for that. I just wondered if, is this it for this, or is it maybe gonna happen again next year?
Maybe, I think we could ask that of Toma and what they think, and given the past housing needs assessment, but there
Okay.
really was a very limited
Right,
pot of potential applicants
Right.
for this pot of money. We could look at, there's other types of CDBG funding that I think
Right.
could be explored, such as they will look at completely abandoned or falling down houses and help scrape and rebuild. There's a pot of money for that. That might be something to look into as well. They also do there's mobile home work, but that one has a very narrow window as well, because usually mobile homeowners don't own the land under it.
Right.
That creates some issues. But there are a few different types of CDBG
Okay.
pots that I think should be explored. Yeah,
Okay.
but in terms of the multifamily, there was really only a few
They're
people in
not-
town that might be,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay, I just was wondering.
and this one,
It's existing multifamilies that are being worked on.
right, this is a rehab
Yeah,
program.
so these two across,
Rehab.
yep, so across the street here.
Yeah, I know exactly which ones you're talking about.
Yeah, what color are they?
Well, they're kind of like a dingy white, really.
Yeah,
They are.
Back here.
They need a paintbrush.
yeah. You need a lot more than the paintbrush.
Yeah.
If you look at the scope of work, it's a lot of work.
Okay,
Yeah, but that money doesn't cover that.
No, but the difference between this and the single family one is that the property owner has a match.
right, so she'd have to.
Yeah.
She has to kick in $20,000
Yeah.
of her own money to get $100,000, a pretty good deal. But
Yeah, it's really, it's
Yeah.
not, that would be not a match, that's
Yeah.
a.
Well,
one of those
no.
things when they-
but it's a
Contribution.
contribution is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they say there's a 5-time match in
Yeah,
the
yes.
next 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Yes, right. That's kind of what this is, that 5X match.
Okey doke.
So, we ready to vote on?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right,
Connors,
Yes,
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
yes.
Thank you.
well,
A tax cap override local law. I move that we pass such a law.
second.
Oh, I'll second it. What was that
Okay.
second?
No, wait. But,
This is
Here.
the.
I'll do it.
Catherine beat me to it.
Local law.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
At all.
Okay, forget me.
All right. Any discussion?
did, she made me do it.
Any discussion before we bring it to vote?
No, I think it's important that we have it.
Yeah.
That's my discussion.
Yeah.
Me too. I think it's kind of unfortunate, really, that the governor created the situation in the
know.
first place.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Connors,
yes,
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
yes,
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Email policy acknowledgement. I suggested that the easiest thing to do would be to simply have a statement at the end of the actual policy saying, I've read it, I understand it, I'll comply with it.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
I
you
thought
said.
that was a good idea.
I acknowledge that I've read, understood, and will comply.
Yes.
That's. It's here.
But I'd like that
was added,
statement,
yeah.
that statement to be at the end of the actual policy. As opposed to having a preceding text that is a subset of the policy.
He's only talking about, at one point, we talked about having 2 documents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And now we're just adding that to the 1 document.
Oh. that's
Is that
interesting.
correct?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Battery's running low, how would that be? Is this thing not turned on?
Oh, no. I mean,
Turn on.
I move.
well, I mean,
What?
I mean, the draft,
Yeah.
that I think Mariah had done, I mean, do people feel like it's important that these things are like bulleted, that you know, you're responsible for, instead of, because they are pretty
I think
specific.
she shared, here, I think she's got a screen shared now.
Um,
Well, you know, it's the whole policy we want. The main, what's missing in that short one is it only covered the town email. And I think it really,
you're right.
it ought to cover the
Yeah.
whole thing, you know, whether it's your email or the town's email.
I mean, this is sort of a good guideline thing
Yeah, as far as it
for
goes.
people,
Mm.
you know, maybe it could be used in this training that people are supposed to get.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what.
For people who are using town
Right,
emails as opposed to,
it says that everybody will be trained. And that no person, let's see, ongoing training will include established email use.
yeah, well, so the whole thing reads for, you know, if you're using your town, if you're using town email, you'll have this training and all this other
Right.
stuff.
Well,
But
I
if you're
think
not
this
using town email,
This
then-
is a good bulleted document to sort of guide some of the training.
could, yeah,
Um,
rather than rather than just throw
Right.
it away.
Did I ask who we're gonna pay to train? Since we're,
Well, the town clerk will arrange for training.
all right,
and
We'll arrange
that's
for it.
another
It
job.
doesn't mean that.
It doesn't
the
necessarily
town
have to
clerk
be
has
the town clerk who does it, but the town clerk will arrange
But
for
it's
training.
another job, just pointing out.
Yep. Well, you know, Rhonda made a statement about, you know, the clerk should be limited to what the statutory requirements are. The last item in the legislation says, and whatever else the town board asked you to do.
Right.
So we've asked her to do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that was part of why it was worded arrange. It doesn't mean they have to actually do it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they can get, you know, Julia to do it or.
But
Wait,
that's still a job. for
Yes,
me.
but it still needs to be done by somebody.
Anyway,
Anyway, well, we did move in second, didn't we? Or did we?
what is that on here?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it looked good. There were just some like spatial things and numbering that needed.
Yeah, I
That I'm
thought-
sure when it's
Yeah, we did,
redone,
we played with it some.
huh?
We played with it some. I mean, I played with it some, Mariah played with it also.
Yeah, but there's just,
Well, you want to play with it more?
no, there's just a few things that I had to like stop and go, what's that? Okay.
Yeah.
1.2, and then right under 1.2 is 1.3, which 1.3 should just be out to the left. You know, it's another heading.
Yeah,
That's.
right, right.
And like 2.3 needs to be,
Yeah, the formatting issue.
yeah, that's the only thing that I really.
Well, you want to play with it and then before we
4.1.
approve it, or you want to?
I mean,
We should be able to approve it first because the content.
yeah.
The content's
is fine.
okay,
It's
right?
just
It's a
the-
matter of formatting.
That's all.
We can approve the
Yeah.
content.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we just
Okay.
add to the approval resolution and say, we approve it.
Well, the content's fine.
Content's fine.
With the formatting to be tweaked by Leslie.
Yeah. Okay,
Sounds good.
sure.
Okay with that, who seconded that one? Let's see who was the second on that? Or do we have it, or is it?
I've
do we have
got,
to-
yeah, no, I think you better start over because I have Gannon and Hunter.
Just a second, because you're gonna rewrite it.
Ed made the second or is moving it?
Yes, the whole thing.
All right.
No,
I'll
Gannon
move-
moved it, and it looks like Hunter may have seconded it, but I'm not entirely
Yeah.
I
sure.
backed off. I
Yeah,
backed off. I'm fine with it. I don't care.
So you,
So we let it go, we let it go to,
so you second?
Why are we going to
Can
meet?
Paul?
Oh, that's what it was. Yes, right. You jumped in and he jumped and then you said, let him have it, right?
that's right,
Yeah.
that's exactly what. that-
Okay,
Okay, I owe you one.
I don't-
Right.
I don't need to do it.
so with that, is that,
Okay.
is that clear now, right? I moved it and then
Yes,
Paul seconded it.
very good.
Cool.
Have we figured
Okay.
that out?
Yes. And so
Connors,
now we're,
Okay.
Hanson says yes too.
very good. Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gannon.
yes,
Thank you.
Welcome.
all right. Follow up on Blake Savoy's suggestion to amend the language of local law on senior and disabled tax exemption. Shared with you, maybe too late for you to notice, this afternoon was Guy's response to my question is, can we do this? And he basically said,
yes.
yeah, yes. Although suggested I had to check with Jay Franklin of the Tompkins County Department of Assessment to make sure that he reads it the same way. I'm guessing he will.
Well, it currently says,
You know,
um,
what it says is
husband
married
and wife.
person.
so,
Oh, let's see, yeah, we,
yeah, I think, I mean, I'm gonna guess that most people are interested in changing that, and it's too bad we didn't catch it.
Guy said it was cool,
but-
and the county is saying what?
No, it's.
No, guys saying that,
might
you know,
wanna
the
check.
language in our local law, which was probably based on a template.
Yeah,
And so usually you follow the template, but the language in enabling legislation
right,
talks about a married person or a married couple,
That's-
not
right,
husband and wife.
Right,
So
That's
that
actually-
we got the latitude, in other words, to change the local law
Yeah.
within the scope of what is in the enabling legislation.
and I mean, I wouldn't lose sleep over it, but when I first read marital spouses, I felt like it's two words that mean the same thing,
Married.
and I ended up going and looking,
Yeah, right. Is there such a thing as
Two
unmarried
can only
spouses?
be used when a couple is married, but I had originally thought married couple. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's what the county,
married couple.
Well, married couple is admissible
The idea, I'm sorry,
as opposed to an
owned
unmarried couple.
by, a married
husband and
couple.
wife are not, oh, okay, yeah,
They're-
married couple.
they're married
Yeah,
couple.
They were married,
Yeah. Right.
I don't know.
Sorry.
We wanted to catch all marrieds, in other words,
Yeah, yeah.
whether you were gay or straight, didn't matter, but you know, you're married.
Yeah.
Two squirrels.
Doesn't
Yes,
matter.
right, yeah.
They don't.
Whereas husband and wife implied, you know, bipolar marriage. so to
But it was
speak.
interesting that it doesn't include domestic partnerships, because,
No, but it doesn't, the
other
language,
things it
legislation doesn't
does.
either,
no, so I mean, it just was interesting. 'cause
yeah,
domestic partnerships are
legal
included in a
document.
lot of things, yeah,
yeah, but not in this
No,
legislation, it's only for marrieds.
right,
So, but we can change,
Tax.
but we could change that at least.
yeah,
So, I can still contact Jay, make sure he sees it the same way, but if he does, which I expect he will, you want to work it up as a change?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because it change, we have to basically pass the local law to change the local law.
right, right.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So if you're okay with it, I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah, yes, Jay.
You know. Agenda here.
Arctic agreement easement.
Yes. So we have the completed easement package for the Adam and Carrie Cartman donation of their development rights to the town. And it is ready for town board approval, authorizing me to sign it on our behalf and finalize it.
I move that we authorize the Danby Town Supervisor to sign the easement agreement. The Cartman easement agreement.
I will second that one.
Okay. Any discussion? A comment on it, it's a really nice easement.
I know, it is.
Mm.
Really is.
Particularly the adjacency to already protected land is really quite nice, between the Eldridge Preserve and the two conservation easements that adjoin it, you know, Dotson and Hart.
Right.
Yeah, the nice protected chunk there. Okay, vote.
It's noted that
Connors?
it's crazy.
Yes.
It's like that.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon,
Yes.
thank you.
Do you want to talk about the budget anymore? Because we didn't get, I think we should have a roadmap for how we proceed from here. We could just talk about it as part of our regular agenda, which I thought maybe we could have done this time, but you know, it's good to have that initial discussion.
do we want to hear from anybody?
That's a good question to
Yeah.
ask too.
Yeah,
I thought maybe Marianne
maybe who?
Kozak, who runs the pond program.
Yeah, but
Did the park people have anything to offer besides maybe we could dredge next year? I think we need to do something about Jennings Pond,
About the water.
just about the water and the setting and.
Well, I mean, they did, you know, the trail work.
No, I'm talking about the swimming.
Yeah. Well, what would they do?
What do they do down at Training?
Well, they don't have the same issues because
Yeah, that's heavy.
it's running water, so
Running
to
water.
speak. You know, this is a pond. It
So
does.
in the past, I'm asking those who have been around.
Oh, what Marianne, it's coming to mind. I spoke with Marianne about it too. And she said that while they were running the program, they didn't have an issue with the geese dropping. That there was, and you know, and Blake does a lot more than just sit there in a chair watching
Right.
the thing. I mean, he cleans up, including cleaning the you know, the
Bathrooms.
bathrooms,
Yeah.
right? And including some of the people, you know, pulling weeds out and stuff, but so he's not just sitting on his hands while he's there. She didn't think there was an issue during, you know, while the program was being run.
In the area they were swimming in.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, I mean, so she was surprised when, you know, I told her that, you know, Paul reported that there was, you know, the big mess with goose poop all over the place. And,
Right.
she did say that wasn't an issue
Well,
during the
there's the
season.
geese, if there are people there, the geese aren't there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the poop's still there.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
thing.
maybe the presence of people, it sees a lot of use besides swimming. So, you know, so having our presence there accomplishes more because, you know, Blake's doing his other things, not Blake, I forget his name, Montgomery.
Start with a J.
I forget my first name.
Chris.
Bill? Anyway, the other
I'm gonna
Montgomery.
say Josh or something like
Yeah.
that.
Anyway, there are people picnic there, people kayak there, people on the
Right.
trails. It gets quite a bit of use besides. Just go there to watch, see the sunset, you know, it's a beautiful setting. But, But it didn't get that much use as a swimming pool. Now, and it's not clear to me how much of that is because there was this interregnum where we didn't have it between COVID and then we couldn't get a life yard. So it was like 2 years with no program. Even though we spent money on it, because we didn't know we wouldn't have a lifeguard, so we got all the permits and everything, got all set up to go, thought we had a lead, didn't work out, didn't didn't happen. Well, Jeremiah is the assistant, not the lifeguard.
So with the,
Anyway, if you'd like, so I thought it might be good to have Mary Ann come in and talk to us about it.
Yeah.
And she said she'd be willing to.
Do they ever
next time.
change the sand, add sand to the beach and the swimming area? Did they ever do that?
They did that not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these last year before, the highway dumped a load of sand, it was much improved.
So just out of curiosity, do they ever lower the lake? And then re-block it off? There is a.
So there's a change in.
Yeah, they ever drop it?
I've never seen that.
We talked about having to do that to repair the dam.
Because if they drop it.
Yes, they did it back then.
Then they
No,
could
they-
get out there and work on that, the swimming area.
Yes, right.
To clean it up and then let it come back out. Do that in the off season or something?
Yeah. Well, he said that if they do it, it will be in the fall, because that was the best time to do it.
Do the dropping.
Yeah, well, to do the dredging. And I asked him, well, what happens with the spoils? And he said, well, you can't give them to a private party evidently, which I thought was kind of too bad. Take time, some of the stuff would make a nice addition to some of the land we have in Danby. So I'm not sure how they'll deal with it, but they have to stockpile it someplace and dewater it and then dispose of it appropriately, but I'm not sure what appropriate disposal consists of.
That's okay, we don't have to worry about that.
No, to me, it looked like a potentially, the potential for beneficial reuse.
Yeah,
Was something I said, why not,
yeah.
So, but, something to talk about, but if it were to happen and he's looking to put it in, in the following year's budget, so it wouldn't be in for 25, it could be in for 26. But too late to get on in, for next year. I think, I may be misremembering, but I think he told me, because it would, as soon as it would happen, it'd be the fall of next year anyway, so it'd be after next year's season.
This is the dredging guy.
Yeah, dredging, yeah. That was Fred Bond, who was the regional
Right.
director, who volunteered it. It's been a while since we did this, maybe we could do that.
Well, we should get on that, but we should get on that list, but maybe there's something else we could do. Maybe somebody like the DEC could help us out or something.
Mhm. What would you be looking to do? Because he was also okay with like pulling weeds and stuff. It just needs to be coordinated. There's actually, they have some sort of oversight committee of experts that responds to those kinds of things and
Yeah,
tells you what you can and can't touch and when to do it and how to do
right,
it.
yeah.
So this is what Ann Klingsmith went through when she volunteered basically to pull out this invasive weed, and they're happy to have her help.
Pull out the invasive weeds. Are we still talking Jennings Pond?
Yeah, she does that at Jenny Pond.
So she does it there?
Yeah,
Wow.
she's done it a couple of times and made a pretty good dent in it.
it looks like it was dredged in 2005.
Is that right? Where'd you find that?
On the internet,
Okay.
on the magic internet.
Wow. So
Dredging
that
and
means it's
grading
been
the swimming area. Weed
coming up on
dredging.
20 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's only the last time.
I mean,
I
there's
think probably
probably
good.
things you can do, to keep, or they do golf courses, of course, they usually get dogs to run around.
So
to
chasing the
keep
geese?
But to not mow, low, to mow high.
Well, that's what he suggested is that And of course, that's for that management committee to look into what can be done. He said to do that, because there are things you can do to geese. You can grease their eggs if they're nesting. Or oil the eggs,
I
basically,
don't
so
think we're doing that.
they don't hatch.
Yeah.
He said in some,
Oh, my God.
in some places you can shoot them, but if they're not there, it's too close to the other houses, so can't do that. But, you know, but another thing, one other thing they do is they have a grassy strip that's unmowed close to shore.
Right.
So that the geese look,
Geese
you
don't
know,
like,
approaching it from the
unmowed.
shore, they see unmowed grass and
Yeah.
not mowed grass.
right.
Um,
But, I mean, you know, maybe there's other things anyway, we should
Backwards.
think about it, and maybe Mary Ann could
Yeah, and
have
then
some ideas.
and if you're interested, I mean, you could follow up with Fred too, in the committee, that they've got the experts. So anyway, he said, you know, they would work with us on
Yeah.
exploring things that can be
In
done.
2 years.
Yeah, well, the dredging might be a 2 years
Yeah.
out, but you know, as far as other things that can be
Really?
done,
Okay.
yeah.
I still like the idea of dropping the level and then working on the swimming area and then letting it build back up again, but. So where are we now? We're in the fall now.
Yeah,
You could do that in the spring, you know, the earlier spring.
we might
But
not,
then you could ask the question if somebody new, like this guy
Yeah.
you're talking to.
Probably have to watch out for all kinds of,
what's good,
dragonfly things that are in the water, or all these other natural things that we're.
yeah, I mean,
we're
'cause, you
not
know,
expert to.
that's an important part of their water management for the lower area, so I don't want to, they probably wouldn't want to be lowering the water level in advance of their need of the water downstream, when it might take the rest of the summer to fill back up again.
Well, we should just try. and-
But fall would be a good time, because, you know, and that's why he's looking at that.
Right.
So anything, any other ones that you could sort of point to, as we want to hear from, we'd like to specifically have them come.
I know if you wanted a presentation, the youth people will do it.
Mm-hmm.
They've already volunteered and said they can. Kate and,
Well, I think we should, then,
Shelley.
if they've, yeah.
they do it in other towns and they're willing to do it here.
You want them on next time?
It might be nice because people don't really get, some of the value that they don't understand some of the things that the youth
Mhm.
programs do.
Mm-hmm. And we have the report from Marnie on the recreation partnership.
Mhm. Yep.
We make more use of it than a lot of places, because we don't have schools.
Right.
I'd like to hear from Mary Ann about the historian position.
Oh, yep, the other Mary Ann.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, I mean, she's got a lot of interest and a lot of talent in that area, but I'd like to see more being done.
Historically, yeah.
At least
So
telling us
it'd be
what
good to,
has been, how things are stored and accessed, or
yeah,
what's the value of this, how it gets saved.
In terms of historical records.
but I mean, some kind of,
Thank you.
you know, we've talked in the past about having, you know, somebody do interviews of farmers, or, you know.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Hurry up before they're all gone.
We've already lost some key people. We've already lost some key
Yeah.
people in
So-
recent time.
Would you bring your own writing utensil?
There's a whole, there's a,
I'm just trying
Give 'em
to,
a pencil.
you know.
Do you like this pen? Isn't it nice?
It's just like,
I love that.
isn't it CFCU pen?
there's at least one pen in the
Anyway.
pot here with all the pencils.
Pick.
Yeah. Any other items for the agenda?
Were there other things you had
We need-
mentioned earlier that,
Oh,
budget wise, that would be?
we need to finalize, make a decision and finalize the ARPA stuff.
Yeah, we
We
do.
need to do that.
Yeah. Oh, and
Oh,
on that
yeah,
line,
by the way,
by the way, yes, you're gonna raise the same point, maybe?
no, I was gonna say that Jeff and I have talked, and I'm gonna do some of the bidding for him on the ramps out here.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna do the other part. I told him I'd be on his case over the next 2 weeks.
Do we have like a figure, financial figure and stuff? Do we-
Well, that's what the bid is for.
That's-
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
And we still
2
need to get the,
Yeah,
stuff
doesn't
at
matter.
the door.
Yeah,
Well, we need to,
by
I'm
the,
a little worried about losing them. I mean, we need to.
right,
We've got-
it's just a
For
matter
the
of.
next meeting.
We've
Yeah.
got plenty of things to
Next-
use the money
Next-
on, but we need to get,
Yeah.
we need to
Is that
get.
the next
commit-
meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks
Okay,
is next
cool,
meeting, so.
Cool, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
And if Jeff doesn't pull his shit together, then I'll do the thing myself. Get there.
We can, I'll look,
You-
Laura's got her.
oh, Laura, had her hand up.
Speaking of ARPA, I know the highway department's been working on something over here with their camera system. They've
I
been.
was gonna bring that up.
quotes. Right now, our camera system isn't working at all, but they do have some quotes. There's one that Keith is really kind of, thinking would be good for over here. It's Telendare Communications and Security.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'm just bringing it up, thinking that if this could be covered with some ARPA funds, something like this, that would be great. Because this system that we have here is like not.
We're at the point where it doesn't make sense. With that, what happened, I spoke with,
$2,000.
right, I spoke with Jack about this and, you know, the main controller failed. And it's like $1,500 to replace it, and you still got all the old cameras and, you know, so it's like, this might be the time to bite the bullet and go new.
We're talking
And
somewhere
it's
between
eligible
10 and
for ARPA.
What's that?
we're talking somewhere between 10 and 12,000 for this Teledare system. But what that is that there is not, the other ones and the Triple Cities Network all came up with like something like $2,000 to $3,000 of a year for a license to be able to go back and view videos and, you know, view camera footage and stuff like that. This Teledare Communications does it. I'm just putting it out there because I know you're talking about ARPA right now, that if maybe you could have that in the back of your mind. And then in the next meeting, Jack can maybe come on and talk about these systems.
If you could share the quotes with the board between now and then, we'll have that in advance of and we put it on the agenda for talk.
Wonderful. And you know, back at the budget too, should we set up some actual budget meetings so that we know we have things set when you would like to see these different people come in? Because the month of October goes pretty fast and then there we are approving a budget.
But
So
what I got out of our conversation just before now was that we're gonna have Mary Ann and Youth Commission and maybe Mary Ann Barr come in and talk to us at the next board meeting.
okay, how about, at the board meeting? Okay,
Yeah.
how about another meeting though, where we're talking about this stuff with the town clerk's position? And some of that other stuff we talked about during our budget meeting. And the you know, the different things, because that's where I think that it's gonna be a big decision-making thing.
That's for sure, yeah.
You want to set up a meeting, another budget meeting that's
Right,
not
do we
at
do-
the
do
town
we need
board
another
meeting?
for that?
Yes, we need
Yeah.
another meeting for
I
that,
think
yes.
I mean, we could come at 5 next meeting. We could have another meeting next Monday. If you feel,
I'm not sure we'd have the information we need to,
right, that's the only thing.
yeah.
Well, I can pull some information together for you pretty good.
But the other thing is we could have, you know, people come next Monday.
Yeah,
If we
well,
met
well,
at 6 or something.
is
Oh,
it, is that
oh, it's
Indigenous Peoples'
Columbus
Day? Yeah.
Or
Indigenous.
Indigenous.
People.
That's what they call
I
it,
don't
now,
even
Indigenous Peoples' Day.
participate in any of it.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
So.
But Mary Ann specifically told me she could come to the next regular
Okay.
board meeting. Mary Ann Kovac.
So how many do we want per meeting? That would be the.
Well, I mean,
tomorrow, right?
my
That's
sense
the-
was, I mean, we don't necessarily have to have everybody come in and talk to
No.
us, you know, so I mean, it's
No.
sort of identify where we really want to hear from somebody.
Especially if people say they want to. you know,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Right,
Well, that's what I'm thinking with the youth,
Yeah.
unless they wanted to do it, they could do it via Zoom even.
yeah, sure. And at the next regular meeting,
Yeah. 2 weeks.
At the next meeting?
At the
Yeah,
next meeting.
our next regular meeting, which is, whatever it is. That's the second meeting in October, 2 weeks. I keep forgetting to bring my calendar.
I know.
The 21st,
21st.
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 So.
21st.
I should probably be here.
Mhm.
What time do I have to be here?
Well,
Five.
so far it's 6,
Five?
but do we want to schedule a 5 o'clock work session again?
I'm oftentimes working at like 3
Yeah,
AM.
me too.
Yeah,
We can meet then.
we can meet
Yeah.
there. Come on, everyone.
I'm sometimes awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. You want to do 5 in advance of that meeting?
I don't want to, but we need to.
Yeah,
That's fine, I'm not.
Maybe
sure
we
one-
could make it a potluck.
yeah.
I'm not sure 1 hour is
There you
gonna
go.
cover all of those issues at once, especially if you have 3 people coming.
Well, those people are gonna come at the regular time. So,
We could
the-
use some of the regular meeting time for budget stuff.
yeah,
too.
exactly.
I
What I'm
mean,
saying is,
The hour
those,
before, we're gonna focus on Mariah's position and what's going on, all the different things going on in that office and put some analysis together.
yeah, and then we could go pick up where you left off with your questions in the budget too, in that period. But then I think we can handle having Mary Ann, the youth commission, come in as part of the regular meeting.
That would be nice. Have her actually here. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. So with that, we have covered the agenda, and I think we can adjourn the meeting.
Alrighty.
Thank you, everyone.
Very good.
Thanks.
Way to hang in there, Greg. Yeah, you too.